सबैजनालाई नमस्कार। म सागर दाहाल, गणित अनुसन्धान तथा अध्ययन केन्द्र मार्सको अध्यक्ष, द सेलिब्रेसन कोएड स्कुलको भाइस प्रिन्सिपल र त्यसै गरी कागेश्वरी स्ट्यान्ड साइन्स टिचर एसोसिएसन नेपालको भाइस प्रेसिडेन्ट। आज सम्पूर्ण एसई दिएर बस्नुभएका विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीहरूको लास्ट यो 29 डेमा ब्रिज कोर्सको 29th डे लास्ट डेमा म स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छु सबैजना विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीलाई। मैले हाम्रो सेसन सुरु गर्नुभन्दा अगाडि आज हामी अन्तिम दिनमा भएको कारणले गर्दा विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीहरूको सियरिङ लिन गइरहेको छु र त्यसमा म सर्वप्रथम हाम्रो च्याट बक्समा आशुतोष तिमल सिन्हाले बागमती बोर्डिङ स्कुल काठमाडौँबाट आफ्नो म केही सेयर गर्छु भनेर उहाँले भन्नुभएको छ। म एकछिनमा उहाँलाई दिन्छु। त्यस पछाडि आशुतोषले सक्नसाथ डाइरेक्ट तपाईँले माइक खोल्नु होला। आयुष श्रेष्ठ झापाबाट म आशुतोष पछाडि आयुष श्रेष्ठलाई म आफ्नो झापाबाट हजुरले लिनुभएको यो अनलाइन क्लास कस्तो भइरहेको छ त्यसको सेयरिङ गर्न लगाउँछु। त्यस पछाडि म सुनसरीबाट कृतज्ञ भट्टराई इटरी 5 सुनसरीबाट चाहिँ कृतज्ञ भट्टराईलाई म आफ्नो कुरा सेयर गर्न लगाउँछु भने फाइनल्ली म शरद समुद्र चौधरीलाई दाङबाट आफ्नो सेयरिङ गर्न लगाउँछु। अब म सर्वप्रथम कार्यक्रम सुरु गर्नुभन्दा अगाडि पहिला सेयरिङ गर्छौँ, त्यस पछाडि हामी सोसल क्लास र नेपाली क्लास गरेर आजको हाम्रो क्लास इन्ड गर्छौँ। मैले अघि पनि भने हामी सर्टिफिकेट पनि वितरण गर्छौँ विद्यार्थी भाइहरूलाई। तपाईँको इमेलमा सर्टिफिकेट आउँछ। म सर्वप्रथम अब आशुतोष तिमल सिन्हा काठमाडौँबाट बागमती बोर्डिङ स्कुलबाट आफ्नो कुरा सेयर गरिदिनको लागि अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु।
Thank you, Sagar sir. So, good afternoon, everyone out in this online class. My name is Asutosh Timal Sinha and I am from Bagmati Boarding School, Sugadhara, Kathmandu. So, if I have to talk about this online class, it was a really incredible session that we students could enjoy, and this online class conducted by the Mars Institute was very interesting and it was helpful to all the students. The whole 1 month session was really interactive and incredible. The teachers allowed students to be interactive with each other. So the effort that the teachers of Celebration Co-ed School and the college, and that was also really incredible. They helped us a lot in teaching many new things, some regarding the course of class 9 and 10 and some regarding the bridging between class 10 and 11, and it was really helpful for us. And we students, we also remained disciplined enough. There was not much disturbances during the class, and the teachers, of course, they were incredible. So the online class was really productive for us. Thank you very much.
ओके, थ्याङ्क यू आशुतोष, थ्याङ्क यू, धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। त्यसै गरी अब म आशुतोष पछाडि आयुषा श्रेष्ठलाई आफ्नो सेयर गरिदिनको लागि अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु।
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ayusha from Zapa. Firstly, I would like to thank Mars and the Celebration Co-ed College for creating this platform for learning. I would especially like to thank Sagar sir for all the support and for engaging us in this bridge course. And I would like to thank all the teachers who have made their great efforts in teaching us, creating slides, even though their busy schedules and all their personal works. And thank you for all to be in here. Thank you. Sagar sir, you are muted.
थ्याङ्क यू आयुषा, थ्याङ्क यू सो मच आयुषा श्रेष्ठलाई। उहाँ हुनुहुन्थ्यो झापाबाट र त्यसै गरी उहाँले अहिले 29 दिनसम्म लगातार ब्रिज कोर्स चाहिँ झापाबाट लिइराख्नु भएको थियो, नयाँ पाठ्यक्रमको बारेमा लिइराख्नु भएको थियो भने अब त्यसै गरी कृतज्ञ भट्टराई इटरी 5 सुनसरीबाट आफ्नो कुरा राखिदिनको लागि अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु।
So let me introduce myself. My name is Kritagya Bhattrai from Itari 5 Sunsari र क्लासेसहरुको बारेमा आफ्नो ओपिनियन दिँदा चाहिँ सम्पूर्ण क्लासेसहरु यो 1 month टाइम इन्टरभलमा जति क्लासेसहरु कन्डक्टेड भएका छन् तिनीहरु एकदमै फ्रुटफुल, इन्टरएक्टिभ र सिस्टमेटिक ढंगले सञ्चालन गरिएको थियो र अरु पनि टप रेप्युटेड इन्स्टिट्युसन्सहरुले अहिले ब्रिज कोर्सका अनलाइन क्लासेसहरु रन गरिरहेका छन्, तर उनीहरुको क्वालिटी, उनीहरुको मेथोडोलोजी सेलिब्रेसन कोएड भन्दा एकदमै डाउन छ र हामीलाई वेल क्वालिफाइड टिचर्सहरुले एकदमै मजाले फेसिलिटेट गराउनु भयो र यति मात्र हैन, सेलिब्रेसन कोएड कलेज यो यस्तो मात्र इन्स्टिट्युट हो जसले करियर काउन्सिलिङ र मेडिटेसनका क्लासेसहरु वीकली सञ्चालन गर्यो। सो आई लाइक टु थ्याङ्क सेलिब्रेसन कलेज इन एसोसिएसन विथ मार्स फर दिस वन्डरफुल अपर्च्युनिटी।
थ्याङ्क यू सो मच कृतज्ञ भट्टराई। उहाँ हुनुहुन्थ्यो इटरी 5 सुनसरीबाट निरन्तर क्लासमा उहाँले चाहिँ जोडिएर आफ्ना कुराहरू राखिदिनु भयो, धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। अब म त्यसै गरी अन्तिम वक्ताको रूपमा चाहिँ शरद समुद्र चौधरीजीलाई दाङबाट आफ्नो पर्सनल एक्सपिरियन्स कस्तो भइरहेको छ भन्ने सेयर गरिदिनको लागि अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु। शरद चौधरी फ्रम दाङ, हजुर हुनुहुन्छ? ओके, धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीलाई, तपाईँहरूले आफ्नो कुरा सेयर गरिदिनु भएको छ, धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। र अब आजको कार्यक्रममा हामी सामाजिक शिक्षा र नेपाली जुन नयाँ पाठ्यक्रममा हामीले विगत 29 दिनदेखि नयाँ पाठ्यक्रम 2076 को पाठ्यक्रम विकास केन्द्रले निकालेको किताबलाई हामी अगाडि बढाइरहेका छौँ र त्यसैलाई पनि मध्यनजर गर्दै आज हामीसँग फेरि पनि सोशल स्टडिजको लागि इरिना अर्याल म्याम हुनुहुन्छ भने नेपालीको लागि मुना गौतम म्याम 4:30 बजे आउनुहुनेछ। आज तपाईँहरूको 5:30 बजेसम्मको क्लास हुनेछ। तपाईँहरूको सर्टिफिकेटको लागि म यहाँ केही डकुमेन्टहरू पनि तयार गर्दै गर्छु र म वेलकम गर्न चाहन्छु आजको फेसिलिटेटरको रूपमा डे 29 को ब्रिज कोर्स द सेलिब्रेसन कोएड कलेजले यसमा हामीलाई सम्पूर्ण सहयोग गरेकोमा उहाँहरूलाई पनि धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छ मार्स र मार्सका सम्पूर्ण मेम्बर्सहरू, म्याथमेटिक्स रिसर्च एन्ड स्टडी सेन्टरका सम्पूर्ण पदाधिकारीज्यूहरूलाई पनि धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद दिँदै अब आजको कार्यक्रम अगाडि बढाइदिनुको लागि इरिना अर्याल म्यामलाई हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु।
Okay, good afternoon everyone. I'm Irina Aryal. I'll be talking on the new curriculum of social studies, Samajik Shiksha. Okay, and I'm sharing my entire screen so that I can start my presentation. Hope all are safe and sound. Stay safe. Now I'll share this link in chat box. Everybody please join. Okay, you can join in peer deck. I have sent the link.
Okay, Irina ma'am. Okay, yeah. Irina ma'am. Today we have our one of the student who is in our this bridge course, Mr. Astos Timal Sinha. He has his birthday, so from Mars and the Celebration Coed College, and on behalf of all the students, we would like to wish a happy birthday to Mr. Astos Timal Sinha. And I would like to request him also to be a captain for today's session. Thank you so much. And once again, happy birthday to you, Ashutosh Timal Sinha.
Thank you very much, Sagar sir. Thank you for the opportunity as well. Thank you, sir.
Okay, happy birthday, Ashutosh Timal Sinha. Hope you have a wonderful life ahead. I have again pasted the link there in chat box. Everybody please join it so that we can start our session. 12 of the student has already connected the peer deck. Okay, now I have started. 23 of the student had joined the peer deck. And okay, today we'll be talking, okay, everybody knows I'm Irina Aryal and I'm teaching social studies for you all here. And this is our curriculum for grade 11 and 12. And this is the unit 7, okay, where we'll be talking today. Okay, so this is the unit 7 and on this unit 7, this point, शहरीकरण का अवसर र चुनौतीहरू प्रस्तुत गर्न, this point we are talking about. Okay, आजको हाम्रो चाहिँ मेन डिस्कसन अथवा चाहिँ हाम्रो लर्निङ चाहिँ हाम्रो शहरीकरणका अवसर र चुनौतीहरू प्रस्तुत गर्न भन्ने टपिकमा चाहिँ बेस्ट भएर हामीले चाहिँ लर्न गर्दैछौँ। अनि यससँग रिलेटेड मैले तपाईहरुको लागि सानो क्विज पनि आफ्टर क्लास सकेपछि चाहिँ सानो क्विज 2 मिनेट अथवा 1 मिनेटमा पनि गर्दैछौँ। ल आजको मेन हाम्रो टपिक, today's main topic is urbanization, opportunities and challenges, and we'll be talking on the topic in detail: urbanization, Nepali urbanization, opportunities, challenges in Nepalese context. Okay, so let's go to the first slide. Okay, and before I go to explain from my side what is urbanization, I'd like to know what is the knowledge level of my student who are attending this today's session. So please just give your response. What do you understand by urbanization? Still 10 of the students are left to join Peer Deck. There are 50 students in Google Meet, and people are still missing. Please join so that you will be able to participate and learn through Peer Deck. 7 responses, 8 responses, it is increasing. Please give your response. You can write your name along with your response as well. While I'll be reading, I'll read out who has written this. Okay, let me see. As I have got some more slide today, so I'm not waiting for more responses. Let it come. Okay, everybody, please give your response. The process of developing cities and urban areas by making the availability of various facilities, developing infrastructures. Wonderful. Kritagya has written, Kritagya Bhattrai has written that the process of changing rural area into urban area is called urbanization. Perfect, simple and perfect definition. Okay, process of developing urban areas. No, it is process of developing rural into urban. Okay, so urbanization is the conversion of a region through the development. Yes, brilliant. Urbanization is the process of developing rural areas into urban areas. Kritisa, brilliant. Urbanization is the well-developed place where all the facilities are facilitated as comparing the residential areas. Okay, the process of making an area more urban. Okay, yeah, if we write like these answers, we should be clear what does, or the teacher may again ask you what do you understand by urban. So please try to make it in your own words, as simple as you can. Okay, urbanization is increasing a population of a certain place and making it more urban and increasing developmental activities as well. Increasing a population, somehow it is like incorrect. Okay, so urbanization is the process by which large number of people become permanently concentrated in relatively small areas, forming cities. Facilities and opportunities as well as developed infrastructure are ever try excellent. The process of making an area more urban. Okay, Partham. Urbanization is the process of changing rural areas into urban areas through various developmental activities. Okay, urbanization refers to the increasing number of people that live in urban areas. Siknirola, perfect. Urbanization is the process by which large number of people become permanently concentrated in relatively small areas, forming cities. Wonderful. The process of developing village into city by developing infrastructure is called urbanization. Dinesh Timal Sinha. Okay. The process of making an area urban or make an area available with different infrastructure of facilities. I have got the name, what I didn't find in chat box, so I'm not reading that. Urbanization refers to the population shift from rural to urban areas. The process of making an area more, somebody is writing, refers to the increasing the number of people that lives in the urban areas. Okay, urbanization refers to the population shift from rural to urban areas of Thapa, somehow correct. Making an area more urban. Karan, urban means what? Okay, so we have to make it simple. The process of changing rural areas into urban areas through the way of development. Mandira. The process making an area urban and develop. Khushi. Urbanization is the process of changing rulers to urban. Urbanization is the process of developing rural and remote areas into urban areas by establishing and building more infrastructure of development. Astos Timal Sinha. Okay. The process of developing rural areas into urban areas. Process of making an area more developed and developed through different infrastructure. It refers to the population shift from rural to urban area, changing rural into the urban. Okay, Banita has written, urbanization is process of changing rural areas. Okay, I read mostly all the responses that has come. Okay, now let's go to the definition. Okay, so I have brought 3 different definitions, and it is an increase in a population in cities and towns versus rural areas. Simple, okay? And urbanization began during the Industrial Revolution. I have brought along with this from when this urbanization started. Okay, so urbanization began during the Industrial Revolution when workers moved towards manufacturing hubs in cities to obtain jobs in factories as agricultural jobs become few in common. Okay, urbanization is not merely a modern phenomenon but a rapid and a historic transformation of human social roots on a global scale, whereby predominantly rural culture is being replaced by urban culture. When we talk about urbanization, not only the developmental works is going on, there are lots of like mixture of cultures are there. Okay, together with that, there will be lots of like socialization process will be changing, or the environmental factors are being changed, or the way of living, people how they used to live and how they are living now, maybe everything will be changed. Okay, so it is a overall a holistic process where every transformation takes place along with the urbanization. So urbanization can be described as a specific condition at a set time, that is the proportion of total population or area in cities or town, or the term can describe the increase of this proportion over the time. Overall, cities को area र population of number of people living in that particular area को चाहिँ transformation or the increment proportionately how it is increasing over certain period of time. So it is overall known as urbanization. Whose mic? Okay, you've been Pokhrel. Okay, please. Yeah, he has muted. Okay, now, write one benefit of urbanization I have written here. What do you think? What are the benefit of urbanization? I'll be discussing after the responses I get from you all. So I'll be discussing on the major benefits of urbanization. What do you think? Like from your side, what could be the benefit of urbanization? You can just write that. I have already got 9 responses, and there are 48 students who have joined, and there are 54 people in Google Meet. Okay, please use this link to join the peer deck so that you won't miss any of the slides, or you will be able to participate more. Now, people are equipped with more facilities such as drinking water facilities. Wonderful. Development in the country and increment in the financial terms of the country. Perfect. Okay, all the facilities we can get there. Okay, people are writing. It helps to make available various facilities in urban areas. Perfect. People can get more advanced medical educational facilities. Okay, we can receive several facilities like electricity, transportation, communication, health service, etc. The country will be more developed. Sarmila, good facilities. People will get more facilities and can learn more things. Okay, the urbanization, in urbanization, rural areas become developed. People get several facilities. It can be developed more and more, available of employment opportunities, and one can find every facilities. Perfect. More availability and accessibility to facilities like good health services, education, etc. Sabin Thapa. Okay. Job opportunities, aware about more families, Benita has written. Availability of facilities, okay, people, okay, help to implement made plans in more order, change in lifestyle, perfect, increase in living standard, availability of infrastructure like education, communication, drinking water, health services, solve in, it's going on writing. Urbanization advances the country's business sectors by providing more jobs and a more diverse economy. Perfect. Aryabhatra has written. Better accessibility to facilities like education, social services, health services, etc., along with better developmental facilities. Perfect. Urbanization can offer the plant, people, and local economy. I know it's like somehow unclear. It advanced the country's business due to various job opportunities. Eliza, perfect. Urbanization brings higher productivity and people can receive more facilities and also help to develop the country. Akriti, perfect. Recycling is more economically feasible. Okay. Reducing congestion and improving public health, Narayani. Okay, development is the certain place, in the certain place. Okay, cities are centers of industries, commerce, transportation, innovation, education, technological advance, and jobs. Karan, perfect. Improve employee training, Raz. Improve quality of life, development of different aspects of the nation, and increase in human productivity, Nirdesh. Okay, reach of people from rural or suburban background to the mainstream of the state, perfect. Okay, development. Okay, I read mostly all 33 responses that I got. Okay, now what are the major benefits I have mentioned here? Supply of basic amenities and facilities, means like basic daily needed materials as well as the facilities that is needed for our daily livelihood. Okay, so urbanization improves and help to supply these all facilities. Another one is it improve. There will be the improvement in the economy as there is urbanization. Like people will get more job opportunities. People will establish their own entrepreneur, or they will start their own business, which helps to increase or improve the economy of the person, society, person, family, society, as well as of whole the nation. Okay, of another one is better living condition. When there is like better facilities, people will earn more. When they earn more, they will be able to invest more for their facilities or their basic needs. So it helps to the better living condition, or it leads for the better living condition, or the living standard of the people will be improved. Okay, or they may have a better quality life, and convenience and access to educational, health services, and jobs. Means like when there is urbanization, there are lots and lots of developmental activities going on, where there is a high chance of getting more jobs, or people from different background can have job opportunities. There can be more competition as well, but there is a chance of having more jobs opportunities as well, and that leads for the better everything. Like when there is like urbanization, schools, colleges, they compete with each other. They try to provide the quality education. They try to provide the lifelong education, like life skills or the soft skills that will be needed throughout their life. So these all come from this education, and that is done from different kinds of institution, and that is only possible if there is proper urbanization, or the development of infrastructure is better on that particular sector. And together with this, there are lots and lots of others facilities as well. Like if there is any kind of health issues, we can go and have a proper checkup. If there is any cases of seriousness, we can have a surgery. We can have a better health than that of living in the rural areas. And like I already talked about the services and the job opportunities. And another one is social integration and diversity. Like we last time we talked about the different kind of nationalities or the ethnic groups living in Nepal. So like because of this urbanization, in a small place, in a small cities, we can find of varieties of people from a different background living together. They have their own culture, tradition, they have their own different languages, mother tongue. Together with that, the way of living, how they live is different. Okay, or the behavior or the attitude they present to others seems to be different, because they are brought up from the different backgrounds. So it shows the integration, how they are interrelated, how they live together, and it also shows the societal or the social diversity, which helps to understand us, which helps us for better understanding about the society, about the diversity of the ethnic groups, caste, culture, tradition, religious, and many more aspects. Okay, another one is political concentration focused in case of Nepal. Like we can take, when we, as we are the Nepalese student, we are living in Nepal, citizen of Nepal, we have to certainly talk about the Nepalese situation as well. And I have tried to provide more information regarding Nepal as well in this lesson. So like we can check, or we can see when there is any kinds of like programs going on, or any kinds of political agenda is to be presented. people or the leaders are focused to be lived in this urban areas. We don't find like many of the people who were born in the rural areas, they have already shifted in the urban areas for their political career. So the political concentration is mainly focused on these urban areas, and somehow it has also been a beneficial point. Okay, now let's go to another slide. And like, you have to write one challenges you personally faced of urbanization. As people are living in rural areas, people are living in urban areas, and by living because of this urbanization, people may face some problem in rural areas, as well as people may face some problem in these urban areas as well. So you can write from any of the side, from the rural side or from the urban side. So the 14 responses already came, so let me start reading out. Okay, first one is pollution, bullying from people. Polluted environment in the main is the main problem. Lack of proper distribution of resources, Ridesh has written. Noise pollution, water pollution, urban areas, Savin Thapa has written. Okay, lack of, somebody is writing. As I live in Kathmandu, the major problem is pollution. Okay, Partham, heavy pollution, waste management, unhealthy throat cut, competition, lack of proper distribution of population, sound pollution. Karan has written on planned urbanization lead to chaos. Okay, like they are facing sanitization, pollution, bullying, dirty rivers, pollution, overpopulation, lack of pure drinking water, higher cost in cities. Okay, environmental threats. Okay, air pollution, corona. Okay, somebody has written corona. Okay, that can also be one of the problem of this urbanization. Maybe unhealthy lifestyle has led us for this corona. And pollution, so mostly I found all students are concentrated on the pollution. Okay, 26 responses I got, and I read all of them, and like 99% of them focused on this pollution. Let us see what can be the major challenges of this urbanization. First one is environmental impact. Yes, that is pollution. From the, like, we can talk from the different aspect: lands, water, environment, and many more. There will be lots and lots of pollutions, and there can be seen like there is no proper this waste management system in urbanized places. These are the major challenges we are facing nowadays in the urban areas. Another one is unemployment. When people having similar kind of skills and capabilities will be gathered in a certain place for the better job opportunities, there is a high competition, and that high competition lead for the unemployment. Like, there is a need of one candidate in our organization and thousands of people apply there. However, just one will be selected, but 999 will be rejected. There is a high chance of unemployment, frustration. Together with that, people like they try to have more and more skills and knowledge to compete in this urbanized area. So there is a job opportunities. Together with that, there is a high unemployment rate, because people doing certain jobs in the rural areas, they shift to the urban areas in name or for having better living standard or better lifestyle. So they try for this, and they face the problem of unemployment. And the one is urban poverty, poor living condition. Like we can see, like because of this more urbanization taking place, Nepal is also having a certain problems of slum area increasing in Kathmandu and other development or the urban cities. There is a high number of slums area increasing, and this rainy season has also brought lots and lots of problems to those people who are living in the slum area. Like as they don't have the big houses, they are living in the small houses nearby the riverside. And this time near Tripura Shore, near the Koteshwar, the Bagmati river has already impacted their living. So they were the houses were being destroyed, people were not able to live. So these are also the one of the challenges of urbanization. Still government is not able to plan properly to manage those people or those slums area, so that there won't be any kinds of life as well as this property damage during this rainy season. So we have to think critically on this as well. And criminal activities also increases as there is less jobs and more competition. People who don't get this jobs, they become frustrated, they will suffer from anxiety, depression, and to have their living or to maintain their lifestyle, they start doing some unnecessary illegal activities which falls under this criminal activities. So there is a high chance of the increment of criminal activities. Another one is original fabric of building will be lost due to physical changes, like buildings are being changed. Okay, like the we can see in Mountain Hill and Tarai, there used to be, if we see the history, there used to be different kinds of buildings or the houses found. But later on, slowly and gradually, as modernization has led for this urbanization, so the buildings styles are being changed, and we are losing, somehow we can say, like we are losing our identity about our house styles or the cultures, because mixtures of cultures is taking place and people are not aware about their own originality as well. Not only buildings, cultural losses there are, identity crisis can also be there, one of the challenges of urbanization. Another one is directly effect on conservation of nature as well as heritages. Like when there are more and more people living in a small area, definitely there will be more crowd. When there is more crowd, there is more pollutions, and that are affecting the environment as well as the heritages. We can check like rivers, ponds, lakes, these are being polluted. Together with that, we can see like old heritage sites are also being polluted. Lots and lots of conservation funds are coming to conserve them or to maintain the cleanliness of that particular area as well. And one is urban congestion, too tightly people are living. We can see like in one house in Kathmandu Valley, in each and every rooms there are family, two to three members family living there. So we can imagine how many people will be living in one house having 15 to 20 rooms like that. So there is a high urban congestion is there. And the one is rise in market price of service utilities relating to daily life activities, like less job opportunities and more unemployment. Together with that, there is no income generation activities are not there, but the services utilization are there is a high price, or there is a every time there is a rise in the market price, where people are not able to use those kinds of things that are being brought by this urbanization. The facilities or the services are not able to be people are not able to utilize it properly because they have a high price. And the people living in the urban area, we cannot say that all have the equal income opportunities. Some are doing labor work, some are doing managerial work. So there will be lots and lots of differences among or the between the salary of the people and the way of living as well. Now, what is this? Okay, just see it given there. Okay, names are also given. See, these are certain some of the problems of this or the challenges of this urbanization that has, or the consequences of this urbanization that is brought or seen in our environment, in our places. See, high traffic or the traffic problem. There is no parking area, people are walking there. There is a parking, two-line parking is done, and there is vehicles are also there. So it is too congested. It is, I guess, the picture of this new road. Another one is environment pollution, and it is a picture of our Bagmati Bishnumati. See the condition of the nature. See the condition, how people are using it. Instead of using, they are spoiling it. So people are still not being careful. Okay, so this shows the effect of this urbanization. And one, see, traffic jam one side, congestion. And one is there is like people are walking, moving in the same place. There is a high crowd or happy crowd, whereas the vehicles are trying to pass through that. See, this is the condition. There is no place to walk for the people, lack of pedestrian. Okay, there is no like walking side. So roads need to be made on the basis of this, like a properly, it has to be planned properly where people can walk. There should be cycling area, there should be the areas where the disabled or the blind people can walk. It has to be managed in a proper way, but it seems to be because of this unplanned organization, these things are taking place. Okay, now your turn. What could be the best solution for negative consequences of urbanization? We cannot say that urbanization always brought the problem. There are positive consequences or the positive things that we can adopt as well. So what could be the best solution for those negative consequences of this urbanization? Your view, you can give that. Okay, let me check. Well planned urbanization shall be done. Okay, eco-friendly steps is a must to overcome the problems of urbanization. Planned developmental activities. We all individuals should work together to overcome the negative consequences. Proper distribution of land, Krusi has written. Awareness, Karan. Environment cleanliness should be maintained. Public awareness. Management of waste. That Nirazan has written, management of waste. Planned urbanization policies for waste management, increase in the ability of the company or organization so that it can provide quality service to all the people. Another one is politicians, rules should be strict and good so that all the people of Nepal will, like, there should be proper rules and policies, maybe you want to say, okay, proper policies, essence of job opportunities, sustainable development, okay, sustainable development and combat poverty by promoting economic development, control industrialization and create awareness, planned urbanization, planned and eco-friendly urbanization, awareness, proper distribution of land, effective implementation of laws and policies, solid waste management, sustainable and eco-friendly development, planned industrialization, planning, awareness programs should be there, involve local community. Yes, perfect. When there is no ownership, when locals are not, like when locals don't participate, they won't think that that is their own. Okay, if somebody goes and clean their other surrounding and come next day again, they will expect that others will come and clean. So we have to involve the local people so that they will feel the ownership that this is my own, I have to work from my side. So then only there can be the proper programs can be there. Another one is like within this, okay, you have written from your side and from my side also, the best solution is sustainable development. We can use we can understand first, we can make the people aware regarding sustainable development, and all the developmental activities that will be planned should be planned being based on the sustainable development, where there is no any harm for the environment, conservation as well as utilization of the natural resources will be there together with that. And like people will find ownership for their own like local developmental works, where they will be conscious on utilizing those things. So best solution is sustainable development. Now, future cities in rapid urbanization, what could be or how can we make up better cities? Okay, another one, first one is like a rapid urbanization is taking place across the globe. Future cities will explore the component of a successful city and will use these discoveries to drive critical planning across all relevant sectors internationally. Okay, it has brought many things here. Their future cities is developing, and there will be lots of successful cities and many discoveries are taking place, but that has to be planned critically so that it can be relevant throughout the globe. Okay, and future city will consider the pillars that create the foundation of a future city. And first one is security. Yes, there should be proper security, job security. Like there should be, people should be safe. There should not be any kinds of discrimination, no problems at all. Okay, people should be secure, no criminal activities. First thing. Another one is water and waste management should be there. There should be proper distribution of drinking water. And the one is there should be proper planning for the solid waste management as well as drainage system. Another one is there should be tourism and hospitality facilities, like people want to visit to different places. If it is congested, then why people will visit there? So if the cities are being planned, it has to be planned so that new ideas or the new identities it will make, so that people from different places come and join there. And the development of entrepreneurs like us, different kinds of these hotels can be, or the restaurant, or the 3 stars, 5 stars can be developed, where people will get job opportunities. Together with that, they can provide the hospitality for the people there. Okay, so that there will be economic growth. Another one is efficient transport. Like having the vehicles is not enough. The place where the vehicles move is the best thing that need to be made nowadays. In Nepal, in Nepalese, if we see our road, it seems to be like it is already damaged and nobody is caring. But if somebody cares, within some certain month it will be again damaged. So government need to plan, or the local agencies need to plan in a proper way, so that if one time investment is done, it lasts at least longer for 10 to 20 years, where there is no like wastage of the this economy. That economy can be invested in some other sector later on. So road facilities need to be there, where proper planning should be done, where people can walk, like disabled people can use their wheelchair there, or the children can use their cycle there. Together with that, like while people can walk properly, together with that, there is a all lanes for bike or these cars or big vehicles. There should be separate lanes, so that there is a efficient transportation. There won't be any kinds of traffic jam. Another one is energy management. Like in a proper or the sustained or the urbanized city, there should be the energy management. In case of Nepal, if we see here, like when I'm taking classes, many times light went, there is no electricity, and like I was disturbed. And you people also, last time you also faced same problem. Okay, electricity is like there is no certainty that we'll have electricity throughout the day. So there should be some kinds of energy management that has to be done by the government for the development of each and every sectors. Okay, so that there won't be any kinds of disturbance. If like in any kind of industry, to run or to start the machine, it takes lots and lots of voltage of energy or the electricity. But as soon as electricity goes or light off, then there is a wastage of energy. Again, it has to be restarted. So same problem is going on. So that has to be managed. And one is disaster relief and green building. Like we can see many of the houses were being it was swept away by this flood, as well as landslide is taking place. Whole village was villagers were being victimized because of this. So the government need to plan on that basis regularly. If certain place is being victimized because of flood and landslide, then there should be restrictions, so that there won't be any kind of settlement area. It has to be restricted. Government need to plan or provide the subsidies and take the people to the another places where they can live properly, where there is no any danger of this natural disaster. So another one is green building. Like nowadays urban areas being like increasing rapidly, yeah, but it lacks the places where there is no like before there were lots and lots of agricultural land in Kathmandu Valley, but if we see nowadays, close compact houses are there, buildings are there, and there is no any places to for this farming activities, or buildings are not maintaining their own not managing their own energy. So if a building is made, at least they can use the solar panel, they can use this solar cooker, they can use this induction and many more, so that they don't need to be totally dependent on these fossil fuels or biogas, petroleum products on that. So we have to think innovatively, we have to think critically so that there won't be any kinds of problem in the future city. So these are the plan that can be used for the future city. Now urbanization in Nepal, so this I found, okay, how it is taking place. In 2009 it was 16.43, whereas in 2019, in 10 years, it has increased to 20.515%. So it is increasing slowly and gradually, it is increasing. Nepal is one of the 10th least urbanized countries in the world. However, it is also one of the top 10 fastest urbanizing countries. In 2014, the level of urbanization was 18.2%, with the urban population of this much, and the rate of urbanization is 3%. It was taken from the UNDESA 2014 report. So Nepal is taking the pace of urbanization. It is increasing, but increasing urbanized cities is not important, but the proper planned city sustainable development work is going on or not. That we have to be careful on that, so that there won't be any kinds of negative consequences of urbanization. People may live the proper life, or they will enjoy the better lifestyle. So I have brought some information regarding the trend of urbanization in Nepal. So I'd like to select some people voluntarily. If you are willing to read out, please read out this first paragraph. Anyone willing?
Ma'am, may I?
Yeah, sure.
Urbanization is an essential part of economic growth, social and political change, technical and scientific advances, and progress in various areas. Urbanized settlements or the cities are probably the most complex settlements evolved from primitive villages to towns than to the cities.
Yes, thank you so much. Name, please.
Arya.
Okay, thank you, Arya. Okay, urbanization is an essential part of economic growth. See the point, first point. Together with that, not only economic growth, it is also important for social and political change, where it brings the technical and scientific advancement, or the advances takes place. Okay, so urbanization is very much important, but the thing is how the settlement is taking place. Is it the complex one? Yeah, that we see, like if we compare the more rural areas and the Kathmandu Valley, we'll find differences, high differences among the settlement styles. Okay, so how it is being changing. Okay, so from the primitive to the complex one, it is being changing. So this is one of the important thing that is essential, or that is too much it is a need of this 21st century. Urbanization is need, but the main thing is how we see this, or how we take this. So trend of urbanization, like from the villages, it has changed to the cities. The main thing it wants to say is, and economic growth is also taking place. As together with that economic growth, social, political, and technical and scientific advancement are also going on. And now let's go to another paragraph. Anyone willing to read out?
Ma'am, may I?
Yeah, sure.
The origin of urban settlements in Nepal is obscure. Very little is known about urban living in Nepal during the period of Kirans. The, the historical evidences on the existence of towns in the Kathmandu Valley are found only for the Licchavis period, 100 before Christ to 1000 AD. By the 11th century, three principal settlements in the Kathmandu Valley had already started to be referred to as capital towns.
Thank you so much. Name, please.
Asutosh Timal Sinha.
Okay, thank you, Astos. Happy birthday once again. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, dear. Okay, let's see, origin, how it started in Nepal. Okay, there were during the Kirats, some people used to live in a group, and where they started using certain scientific technology. They started inventing themselves. They started enjoying themselves. Okay, with the new devices, new machines. Together with that, this historical evidence also shows that Kathmandu Valley was found to be urbanized from this Licchavi period. They might have used, or they might have started using something that is new or something that is advanced from their primitive lifestyle. So it shows that Kathmandu Valley already started to be a capital town, as there were like certain things that was being used in the daily life of the people where they used to live. Like we can take examples. Before 50 years, people from different parts of countries, they used to walk and come to Kathmandu Valley. And in Kathmandu Valley, there were temples, there were taxi that used to be used as like transportation facilities, like cycles the people used to use. But out of Kathmandu, people were not able to see any kinds of transportation vehicles or transportation facilities. So to see the urbanized place, people used to come and visit the Kathmandu because it was a capital city where rulers used to live, and for their sophisticated life, they have tried to bring different kinds of facilities that are going on in the world, which they can buy and bring at least. And we have seen like in different museum or in different places or in history, we have heard like Ranas, they bought the car, and that vehicles or the jeep, it was carried by the people to bring till this Kathmandu Valley. From out of the country it was bought, and there was no any kind of road, but the people carried the vehicles or the jeep and brought till this Kathmandu, so that Rana would enjoy those vehicles within the Kathmandu Valley. So Kathmandu also started to be urbanized since long. Okay, now anybody willing to read out this first paragraph of this slide? Anybody?
Ma'am, may I?
Yeah, I heard boy sound first, boy first, then second paragraph from girl. Okay, who on the mic? You can
Ma'am.
start.
The political change of 1951 had significant impact on the urban growth in Nepal. The country was opened to the outside world, transplantation of new ideas, and country's development plans were commenced. The country was divided into development regions, the development activities, most of which through foreign assistance, resulted the dramatic change in the growth of towns and urban centers of Nepal.
Thank you so much. Name, please.
Love Gani.
Okay, thank you, Lord. Okay, now the political change of 1951 brought the significant impact in urban growth of Nepal. How? Because they started, like the people in the mainstream who were the politicians, they started to think from out of their world. Not only they, first of all, people, they used to think in their own premises, what can be done like that, but what it is being done in others' country also, they started finding out. And the new ideas, and for having the different developmental plans, they started to plan like 3rd-year or 5-year interim plans, and they started to be developed and they started to be implemented for the proper utilization or for proper developmental activities. The country was then divided into different regions, 5 developmental regions, and being based on the different developmental regions, different plans were being implemented there, which seems to be like a slowly and gradually there was a change in the towns or the urban centers of Nepal started to be developed, and it seems to be like there was a dramatic change as soon as those developmental activities were done. Okay, so Nepal also started the urbanization since in a proper manner. It was started from 1951. Okay, now I heard the girl sound. Who was that? Please start reading this last paragraph.
The initiation of malaria eradication program and the resettlement program in the late 1950s created the framework for a long-scale migration of hill people to the Tarai. Hill-Tarai migration due to rich agricultural base in the Tarai, increase in the volume of trade with India, expansion of the state bureaucracy, and the creation of physical infrastructure contributed to the urban growth and urbanization in Tarai after 1951.
Thank you so much. Name, please.
Sarmila.
Okay, thank you, Sarmila. Wonderful. Now let's see. Okay, now how Tarai became more advanced than that of mountain and hill. There is a case. Okay, there was malaria eradication programs which was done in the late 50s, and it brought the like a framework where long scale migration started taking place from hill to tarai. Okay, like before, people they didn't used to travel or move towards tarai because there were like problems of malaria, and malaria was really like a threatening problem or threatening disease that time, because there were no proper health facilities. But after the government take plan or took initiative to eradicate malaria, they did lots and lots of health programs, and they involved many people to eradicate malaria, and it was eradicated slowly and gradually. After the malaria eradication program started, people started to know that okay, government has focused to eradicate malaria from Tarai region. Now we can settle there because Tarai has a good fertile land, or fertile land where we can go and produce and we can settle there. So people from the hilly region thought on that basis, and for doing a trade, for doing business activities, they slowly and gradually started to move towards Tarai, and that Tarai slowly lead to the like we have an open border in the Tarai region in with India. So it has led the people to have a bureaucratic relationship. State bureaucracy also started to expand. Because of that, trade between India and Nepal started to increase. Like Nepal and India, both sides, they started to like buy and sell goods. Okay, they started to do that trade business, and that also led for the urbanization, because as India was already governed and colonized by the United Kingdom, Britain. So people, while they lived there, they used to bring lots and lots of new technologies there. They started utilizing that, and Nepal could also learn from this open border system. And that was only possible after the malaria eradication program started. Okay, now settlement in Nepal. See how it is. It is the picture of Kathmandu Valley. Okay, and see how congested it is. We see less greenery, more colorful buildings. Settlement in abroad. Okay, we can see like greenery is also maintained together with that. Like within the same place, they have used in a same land, they have made lots and lots of different floors are being made, multi floors are being made, or multi-storied buildings are made, so that people can settle there properly without damaging the other useful land. Okay, so it seems to be clean, whereas the before one seems to be like congested and dirty one. Yeah, now I have completed this one, but I have something for you all. Just some second you may take. Okay, like share. Let me share. I'm sharing the link, and that link I'll keep in chat box in this Google Meet. Use the link so that you can go to Mentimeter, menti.com, and do this. Everybody, please check this chat box. I have pasted to same link 2 times. Use it so that we can start this our quiz. Okay. Let's see who does the faster. Who will do this faster? Time up. Okay. Okay, job opportunities. Okay, positive consequences of urbanization. 17 of them has done. Okay, job opportunities. Okay, that's the correct answer. Let's go to another slide. Answer fast to get. Okay, negative consequences of urbanization. 20 people, 22, 20, 22 people have responded, 23. Okay, and 23 of them has given the correct answer, that is negative consequences of urbanization. Okay, pollution. Let's see the score. Okay, who has won? Okay, Sagar sir is also playing. He has scored the highest, 3,112 point. And one is Pingu, who is Pingu. And one is Sakura. And one is Aryabhatrai, then Brand the Broken, Nicholas. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, this is this much for today. Hope everybody enjoyed my class. Okay, is there any queries, any questions related to the topic we discussed today? If there is any, if you are not willing to speak, you can keep in chat box. If you are willing to speak and ask, you can ask to me. But it has to be related to the today's topic, that is urbanization, opportunities and challenges in case of Nepal. Okay, so anyone has any questions?
Okay, thank you so much, Irma ma'am. Now I'd like to request Munna ma'am to present her presentation of Nepali. So during her presentation time, I think it may take 2-3 minutes. So at that time, please do the attendance. And in the attendance, I've got so many students with full marks. 2 quiz questions I have given. So from the quiz one, what I have planned is total was 10 points, and from there it will be very easy for me to give you certificate. So I made it as a Google form, that means in the form of quiz format. Thank you very much. So many responses, 35 people have already given the responses. So those who have not done attendance, please you can do the attendance. And Bidan, Farma, Astos, Timal Sinha, they have helped in the chat box for your this attendance. So now I'd like to request Munna ma'am to forward Nepali session.
धन्यवाद सागर सर। सम्पूर्णमा नमस्कार, शुभ दिन, गुड आफ्टरनुन। आज पनि फेरि यहाँहरु समक्ष म उपस्थित भइसकेको छु। और अघिल्लो हप्ता पनि हामीले केही कुराकानी गर्यौं, केही छलफल गर्यौं, केही मिठा कुरा गर्यौं, केही चाहिँ विषयवस्तुमा आधारित भएर कुरा सिक्यौं, केही पुनरावृत्ति गर्यौं। सबैजनालाई चाहिँ मेरो बारेमा थाहा होला, त्यही पनि नयाँ कोही जोडिनु भएको छ भने म मुना गौतम। नेपाली विषयको केही कुराहरु धेरै त म भन्दिन, यहाँहरुको सिकेको कुरालाई केही थप टेवा पुगोस् भन्ने उद्देश्यले केही कुराहरु सिकाउँ, केही कुरा बुझाउँ, केही कुरा पुनरावृत्ति गरौँ भन्ने उद्देश्यले चाहिँ म यहाँहरु समक्ष उपस्थित भएको छु। यहाँहरुको एकदम सक्रिय सहभागिताको लागि धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु। एकदमै आफूभित्र भएको जोश जाँगरलाई लिएर सधैँभरि चाहिँ आफू अगाडि बढ्ने प्रेरणा सहित यहाँहरु उपस्थित हुनुभएको छ। यो नै एउटा विद्यार्थीमा हुनुपर्ने चाहिँ सकारात्मक पक्ष र गुण पनि हो। आज चाहिँ हामी थोरै चाहिँ विषयवस्तु यहाँहरु समक्ष पस्किदिन आज म। अघिल्ला कक्षामा यहाँहरुले भन्नुभएको थियो शुद्ध साथीका केही कुराहरु गरौँ न म्याम भनेर कतिपय भाइ बहिनीहरुले भन्नुभएको थियो। त्यसैलाई मध्यनजर गर्दै अब हामीले अघिल्ला कक्षामा चाहिँ हामीले पढ्नुपर्ने विषयवस्तुको बारेमा थोरै छलफल गर्यौं। त्यसपछि गएर के कसरी चाहिँ बोध लेख्ने, के कसरी चाहिँ सारांश लेख्ने, के कसरी निवेदन लेख्दाखेरि के पक्षमा ध्यान दिने, त्यसपछि गएर विवेचनात्मक उत्तर दिँदाखेरि के पक्षमा ध्यान दिने भन्ने कुरामा थोरै छलफल गर्यौं। बृहत रूपमा चाहिँ छलफल हुन सकेन, किनभने 1 घण्टाको समय अवधिमा धेरै चाहिँ शीर्षकहरुको सेरोफेरोमा रहेर एकदम स्पष्टसँग चाहिँ गर्न अलिकति असम्भव हुन्छ। थोरै कुरा जानकारी दिए कि भन्ने मैले सोचेको छु। यहाँहरुले पनि थोरै कुरा पुनरावृत्ति गर्नुभयो कि भन्ने पनि मैले अपेक्षा राखेको छु। यहाँहरुले त्यो अवधिभित्र यहाँहरुभित्र भएका केही कौतूहलता, केही जिज्ञासा गर्नुपर्ने कुराहरुलाई नि यहाँहरुले समेट्नु भयो भन्ने मैले मानेको छु। आज पनि त्यही विषयवस्तुमा जुन हामीले हामीले नेपाली शिक्षण क्रियाकलाप गर्ने क्रममा, नेपाली सिकाइ गर्ने क्रममा, नेपाली बोल्ने क्रममा, लेख्ने क्रममा चाहिँ कथ्य र लेख्य भनेर अघिल्ला कक्षामा हामीले छलफल गरेका थियौँ। लेख्ने क्रममा, बोल्ने क्रममा हुने चाहिँ समस्याहरू, लेख्दाखेरि हामी जे बोल्छौँ त्यही लेखिदिन्छौँ, त्यसले चाहिँ लेखाइमा हुने त्रुटिहरूलाई चाहिँ कसरी थोरै मात्रामा अलिकति सच्याउन सकिन्छ, कसरी त्यसलाई चाहिँ आफूमा सुधार गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने उद्देश्यले थोरै यहाँहरू समक्ष मैले राख्ने प्रयत्न गरेको छु। चाहिँ शुद्ध साथी कसरी गर्ने, अनि साथसाथै गएर हामीले चाहिँ शब्द हुन्छ नि हजुर के भन्दै हुनुहुन्छ भन्ने
अगाडि बढ्नुहोस् म्याम, केही भयो भने च्याट बक्समा भन्नुहुन्छ। अनि आशुतोष तिमल सिन्हाले आज तपाईँलाई फेसिलिटेट गर्नुहुन्छ, अगाडि बढ्नुहोस् म्याम। देखिया छैन, स्क्रिन साउन्ड आएको छैन, आशुतोष नेपालले तपाईँलाई गाइड गर्नुहुन्छ।
धन्यवाद सर। हामी चाहिँ नेपाली सिक्ने क्रममा नेपाली सिक्छौँ होइन, नेपाली चाहिँ लेख्छौँ पढ्छौँ। कतिपय शब्दहरू चाहिँ के हुन्छ चाहिँ हामीलाई चाहिँ सुनिरहेको शब्दहरू हुन्छ, तर त्यो शब्द कसरी बन्यो, त्यो शब्दलाई कसरी चाहिँ प्रयोग भएको छ र त्यो शब्दको अर्थ कसरी खोज्ने भन्ने कुरामा पनि हामी अल्मलिरहेका हुन्छौँ कतिपय अवस्थामा। र केही शब्दहरू यस्ता हुन्छन् जुन हामीले चाहिँ शब्दकोशमा खोज्दै जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ त्यसले चाहिँ के गरिरहेको हुन्छ, हामी हाम्रै किसिमले खोजिरहेका हुन्छौँ, तर त्यो त्यहाँ नभेटिन सक्छ नि, यो त शब्दै बनेको छैन रहेछ भन्ने किसिमको चाहिँ हामीभित्र त्यो दुविधा पर्ने पनि हुनसक्छ। किनभने अब हामी नेपाली विषयलाई गहिराइमा अध्ययन गर्दै आफ्नो बौद्धिक क्षमताको विकास गर्ने क्रममा छौँ। त्यही भएर आज चाहिँ मैले यहाँहरूलाई शब्दकोश कसरी हेर्ने, अनि त्यसपछि शब्दकोशमा चाहिँ कुन कुन शब्द कसरी राखिएको हुन्छ, त्यो शब्दहरूलाई कसरी प्रयोग गर्ने भन्ने कुराको थोरै छलफल गर्छु। त्यसपछि शिरबिन्दु, चन्द्रबिन्दु, शुद्ध साथीमा कसरी ध्यान दिन सकिन्छ, त्यसलाई कसरी प्रयोग गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने कुरामा नि यहाँहरू समक्ष प्रस्तुत हुने प्रयास गरिरहेको छु। यहाँहरूले चाहिँ नर्सरीदेखि नेपाली पढ्दै आउनुभयो, अहिलेसम्म आउँदाखेरि लगभग 13-14 वर्षको अवधिसम्म नेपाली पढ्नुभयो, नेपाली लेख्नुभयो, नेपाली रचना गर्नुभयो, नेपालीलाई माया गर्नुभयो, नेपाली सधैँभरि बोल्दै आउनुभएको छ। यी हुँदाहुँदैखेरि पनि कहिलेकाहीँ के हुन्छ भने हामीले बोलेको चाहिँ बोलिरहेको हुन्छौँ, तर चाहिँ के भइदिन्छ चाहिँ लेख्ने बेलामा हामी अशुद्ध भइदिरहेको हुन्छौँ। मेरो नेट अलि देख्दै हुनुहुन्छ है? अलि नेट स्लो भएको हो कि जस्तो भान मलाई भइरहेछ। खुल्दैछ, त्यही पनि खुल्ने क्रममा छ। यहाँहरूलाई चाहिँ थोरै यो विषयवस्तुमा आबद्ध भएर थोरै छलफल गर्ने प्रयत्नमा छु। आज हामी चाहिँ यो 1 महिनाको अवधिमा यहाँले धेरै कुरा सिकिसक्नु भएको छ। हजुर सर।
मुना म्याम।
हजुर सर।
त्यहाँ डाइरेक्ट यो खोलिसके पछाडि त्यहाँ विद्यार्थीले डाइरेक्ट जोइन गर्ने लिङ्क छ है, यसलाई खोलिसक्नु पहिला अनि है एकैछिन।
हुन्छ सर। ल के भन्छ,
यसलाई काट्दिनु त, माथि काट्दिनु न, यसलाई हो त्यसलाई काट्दिनु त। हो यहाँ यसलाई कपी गर्नु त म्याम, गिभ स्टुडेन्ट द लिङ्क भन्ने छ यहीँ नासपाती भन्दा मुनि हो, यहीँ अलिकति यता हुन्छ। हो त्यसलाई कपी गर्नु त, हो त्यसलाई क्लिक गर्नु, हो त्यसलाई लिङ्क कपी गर्नु। अब मिट खोल्नु, मिटमा जानु त, मिटमा MEET मिट हो त्यहाँ जानु, च्याट बक्समा राखिदिनु, डाइरेक्ट खोल्छ कि त्यसले, पासवर्ड हाल्नु पर्दैन, कन्ट्रोल V गरिदिनु। ओके, थ्याङ्क यू म्याम। ल अब तपाईँले नि म्याम फेरि आफ्नै स्लाइडमा जानु त, यता टिचर स्लाइडमा प्रेजेन्टेसन सेसन हो, प्रेजेन्टेसन यता चाहिँ प्रेजेन्टेसन सेसन, पियर डेको प्रेजेन्टेसन यता, त्योभन्दा यता हो होइन, त्यो होइन म्याम, यतापट्टिको चाहिँ हो। होइन नेट स्लो भएको हो। अब
नेट स्लो भइरहेछ।
स्टार्ट क्लास गरिदिनु म्याम, यहाँ छ तल स्टार्ट क्लास गरिदिनु, तल ठ्याक्कै हो त्यहाँ भयो सर म्याम।
भयो सर, देखिरहेछ?
भयो, देखिया छ म्याम।
ल, आज चाहिँ हामीले अघि भने मैले शब्दकोशको बारेमा थोरै हामी छलफल गर्छौँ। शब्दकोश हामीले शब्दहरूको चाहिँ एउटा सङ्ग्रह, विभिन्न शब्दहरू हुन्छ नि त। अब हामीले अगाडिको कक्षाहरूमा तत्सम शब्द, तद्भव शब्द, आगन्तुक शब्दहरू हुन्छ, हामीले सुनिरहेका हुन्छौँ, प्रयोग गरिरहेका हुन्छौँ। तर त्यसको वास्तविक अर्थ के हो भनेर कहिलेकाहीँ हामी अन्यलमा परिरहेका हुन्छौँ र त्यो अन्यललाई चाहिँ हटाउनको निम्ति हामी शब्दकोशको प्रयोग गर्छौँ। नेपाली शब्दकोश, बृहत नेपाली शब्दकोश हामी घरमा राखेर यत्रो ठुलो धेरै शब्दहरू हुन्छ, त्यसमा त्यो शब्दहरू हामीले खोज्छौँ। किनभने हाम्रो शब्दकोशमा चाहिँ 36 वटा चाहिँ व्यञ्जन वर्ण, अनि त्यसपछि 13 वटा चाहिँ स्वर वर्ण, अनि त्यसका पनि फेरि क्रम छ नि त। व्यञ्जन वर्णलाई स्वर वर्णमा रूपान्तरण गर्दै लाँदाखेरि धेरै शब्दहरू हुन्छन् र कतिपय शब्दहरू ठ्याक्कै अनेकार्थी शब्द हुन्छन्, श्रुति सम्भिन्नार्थक शब्द हुन्छन्। यसको अर्थ यही होला जस्तो लाग्छ, तर त्यसको वास्तविक अर्थ के हो भने चाहिँ हामीले नेपाली शब्दकोशको प्रयोगबाट चाहिँ त्यो हामीले स्पष्ट हुन सक्छौँ र त्यसको वास्तविक अर्थ के हो भन्ने कुरा हामी जानकारी गर्न सक्छौँ। सामान्यतया हामीले शब्दकोशमा हेर्दाखेरि सुरुमा चाहिँ स्वर वर्ण हुन्छ, यहाँहरूले पनि देख्नु भएको छ। त्यसपछि व्यञ्जन वर्ण हुन्छ, अनि व्यञ्जन वर्णमा कदेखि क, का, कि, कु, कु, के, कै, को, कौ, कम, कह हुँदै जाँदाखेरि फेरि ख, ख यस्तो हुँदै जान्छ। त्यो क्रममा हामीले चाहिँ यहाँहरूले पनि एकदमै जिज्ञासा लाग्न सक्छ, मैले पनि भोगेको कुरा हो त्यो, होइन। अब क, ख, ग, घ, ङ हामीले व्यञ्जन वर्ण पढ्दै जाँदाखेरि छे, त्र, ज्ञा अन्तिममा आउँछ, अनि हामी चाहिँ ह पछि छे खोज्छौँ, होइन। अनि छे पछि त्र खोज्छौँ, त्र पछि ज्ञा खोज्छौँ, तर त्यो कुरा चाहिँ हामीले शब्दकोशमा भेट्दैनौँ। त्यो नभेटिसकेपछि हामीलाई के लाग्छ, ल छे, त्र, ज्ञाको चाहिँ शब्दै बन्दैन क्या, पाइँदैन रहेछ शब्दकोशमा भन्ने हामीलाई कौतूहलता लाग्न सक्छ। त्यहाँनिर हामी एकदमै ओहो यो पाउँदैन रहेछ, यो चाहिँ हामीले खोजेको भएन भन्ने किसिमको हामीलाई भाव पैदा हुन्छ। त्यस कारणले गर्दा हामीले नेपाली शब्दकोश हेर्ने क्रममा यहाँहरूलाई कतिलाई त थाहा भइसकेको कुरा हो, कतिपयले चाहिँ यसको अभ्यास गरिसक्नु भएको छ, त्यसलाई खोजिसक्नु भएको छ, त्यही पनि कतिलाई चाहिँ थाहा नहुन सक्छ। थाहा हुनेहरूलाई पनि पुनरावृत्ति हुन्छ, थाहा नहुनेहरूले पनि यसलाई चाहिँ के गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ त, प्रयोगमा ल्याउन सक्नुहुन्छ। मैले यहाँ एउटा स्लाइड बनाएको छु, नेपाली शब्दकोशको प्रयोग भनेर। एकजना विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीले यो पढेर सुनाइदिनुहोस् त। जसले पढ्नुभयो पनि हुन्छ, किनभने मैले यहाँबाट देख्दिनँ नाम लिनलाई। एकजनाले चाहिँ यहाँ यो स्लाइडमा देखिएको नेपाली शब्दकोशको प्रयोग भन्ने छ, यसमा के शब्दहरू कहाँ कसरी आउँदो रहेछ भन्ने कुराहरू थोरै जानकारी छ, विस्तृत रूपमा त छैन। यहाँहरूलाई म स्पष्ट बनाउने प्रयत्न गर्छु। यहाँ पढेर एकजनाले सुनाइदिनुहोस् त।
म्याम म पढौँ?
हुन्छ, एकदम।
नेपाली शब्दकोशको प्रयोग। नेपाली शब्दकोशको प्रयोग गर्दा क्ष, त्र र ज्ञ खोज्ने तरिका। क आदि क प्लस अ भनेको क हुने भएकाले क्षबाट सुरु हुने शब्द कदेखि कहसम्मका शब्दहरू सकिएपछि क्षबाट सुरु हुने शब्द भेटिन्छ। त्यस्तै आदि त प्लस आदि र इक्वल्स टु त्र हुने भएकाले तबाट सुरु हुने शब्द सकिएपछि त्रबाट सुरु हुने शब्द भेट्न सकिन्छ। ज्ञ पनि ज प्लस य इक्वल्स टु ज्ञ हुने भएकाले जबाट उच्चारण हुने शब्दको अन्त्यपछि ज्ञबाट सुरु हुने शब्द भेट्न सक्छौँ।
स्याबास, हजुरको नाम के हो?
आशुतोष तिमल सिन्हा।
आशुतोष, धन्यवाद यहाँलाई। चाहिँ यहाँहरूले सुन्नुभयो, आफूले पनि स्क्रिनमा पढ्नुभयो। अब हामीले हुन्छ नि, मैले अघि पनि भने क ख पढ्दै जान्छौँ, अनि ह पछि छे आउँछ, छे पछि त्र आउँछ, त्र पछि ज्ञा आउँछ, अनि हामीले शब्दकोशमा खोज्ने बेलामा पनि के गर्छौँ त, त्यही आधारमा खोज्दै जान्छौँ नि त शब्दहरू, किनभने त्यस्तै क्रमिक रूपमा अरू त पाइन्छ। अनि त्यसपछि त्यो आधारमा हामीले छबाट चाहिँ उच्चारण हुने शब्दहरू, छे अक्षरबाट सुरु हुने शब्दहरू खोज्ने क्रममा चाहिँ हामीले शब्दकोशमा भेट्दैनौँ। नभेटिसकेपछि छेउबाट छे त्र ज्ञाबाट सुरु हुने शब्द त शब्दकोशमै भेटिँदैन रहेछ भने हामी अन्यलमा पर्न सक्छौँ। त्यस कारणले गर्दा चाहिँ के हुन्छ त, क आदि क र अ मिलेर क पूर्ण क बनेको हुन्छ, स्वर र व्यञ्जन वर्ण मिलेर अक्षरहरू बनेको हुन्छ। त्यसपछि त्यो भइसकेपछि क, का, कि, कु, कु, के, कै, को, कौ, कम, कह यो शब्दहरू, त्यसबाट सुरु हुने शब्दहरूको अन्त्यमा चाहिँ त्यो सबै शब्दहरू हुन्छ नि, त्यो शब्दहरू जस्तै कलम, किताब, कृष्ण भनेर क्रमशः करोडपति विभिन्न शब्दहरू सिद्धिसकेपछि कौवा क्रमशः भनेर यस शब्द सिद्धिसकेपछि बल्ल के आउँछ त, छ शब्दको चाहिँ त्यहीँनेरि क सिद्धिने बित्तिकै कका वर्णहरूको चाहिँ शब्द सिद्धिने बित्तिकै छ शब्दको चाहिँ हामीले शब्दकोशमा त्यो शब्दहरूको चाहिँ त्यहाँ भेट्न सक्छौँ। त्यसरी हामीले शब्दकोशको प्रयोग गऱ्यौँ भने हामीलाई पछि चाहिँ अन्यल के होला भन्ने जस्तो पर्दैन यहाँहरूले, किनभने शब्दकोश यहाँहरूसँग हुनुपर्छ। शब्दकोश चाहिँ सबैजना, अहिले त त्यही पनि शब्दकोश घरमा चाहिँ एउटा शब्दकोश चाहिँ सानो ठुलो सबैको घरमा हुनुपर्छ। हामीले हेर्ने बानीको कसरी शब्दहरू बनेका हुन्छन् भनेर त्यहाँ पनि लेखिएको हुन्छ त्यहाँ शब्दहरू खोज्न हामीलाई सहज हुन्छ र खोज्ने पनि बानी विकास गर्नुपर्छ। अब हुन त हामी प्रविधिको विकासमा छौँ, हामीले झट्ट एउटा चाहिँ एप्लिकेसन मोबाइलमा राख्यो भने जति बेला पनि हामीले एउटा शब्द सर्च गर्ने बित्तिकै भेट्न सक्छौँ, खोज गर्ने बित्तिकै भेट्न सक्छौँ। तर पनि त्यो गर्दाखेरि त सहज हुन्छ, हामीले शब्द त्यहाँ टाइप गर्यो, त्यहाँनिर टाइप गर्ने बित्तिकै त्यसको अर्थ बताइदिन्छ, त्यो शब्द गल्ती हो, त्यो शब्दको अर्थ छैन भने यो शब्द भेटिएन भनिदिन्छ, सहज हुन्छ। तर त्यति मात्रै गरेर त हामी व्यावहारिक रूपमा परिपक्व भइसक्दैनौँ नि। परिपक्व के अरे कहिलेकाहीँ चाहिँ हुन्छ हामीलाई पढ्न सक्छ, लु घरमा त्यो प्रविधिको विकास नभएको अवस्थामा कहिलेकाहीँ चाहिँ हामीलाई शब्दहरू खोज्ने बेला भयो, त्यो अवस्थामा हामीलाई शब्दको अर्थ जान्नु पर्यो, सिक्नु पर्यो भने हामीले शब्दकोशको प्रयोग गर्न सक्छौँ। र सकेसम्म एउटा नेपाली विद्यार्थीहरूसँग चाहिँ एउटा शब्दकोश चाहिँ हुनु जरुरी छ। यस कारणले गर्दा कदेखि कहसम्मको चाहिँ शब्द सिद्धिसकेपछि हामीले शब्दकोशमा छ शब्दको सुरुवातको क्षेत्री हुन्छ नि, छबाट उच्चारण भएका शब्दहरू त्यहाँबाट पाउन सक्छौँ। यो तरिका यहाँहरूले पनि हेर्न सक्नुहुन्छ। त्यहाँनिर शब्दकोशमा पल्टाएर सुरुमा सबै पल्टाउने अनि अन्तिममा नभेटिसकेपछि त्यहाँ बिचमा चाहिँ यहाँहरूले भेट्न सक्नुहुन्छ। त्यसै गरी त्र पनि आफैमा स्वतन्त्र शब्द होइन। अस्ति नै हामीले त्यो व्यञ्जन वर्ण शब्द वर्ण पढ्ने बेलामा स्वतन्त्र रूपमा 29वटा व्यञ्जन वर्ण छ, 6वटा छ, त्यहाँ 7वटा के अरे 29वटा चाहिँ स्वतन्त्र हो, अरू चाहिँ संयुक्त हो, मिलेर बनेको हो भनेर हामीले पढेका थियौँ। त्यस्तै त र र मिलेर चाहिँ के बनेको छ, त्र बनेको छ। त्यस कारणले गर्दा यो पनि तबाट सुरु हुने शब्दहरू सिद्धिन्छ। त ता ती ती तु तु ते तै तौ तम, त्यबाट उच्चारण हुने शब्दहरू चाहिँ सिद्धिसकेपछि हामीले के पाउँछ, त्यहाँनिर त्रबाट उच्चारण हुने शब्दहरू भेट्न सक्छौँ। यो चाहिँ कहाँनिर त शब्दकोशमा, शब्दकोशको हामीले प्रयोग गर्दा शब्दकोशबाट शब्दहरू खोज्दा त्यसबाट त्यो कसरी बनेको रहेछ भनेर सबै हुन्छ शब्दकोशमा चाहिँ। फेरि यो नाम हो, सर्वनाम, विशेषण हो, यो यसको बनोट कसरी बनेको छ र त्यसका कतिवटा अर्थ छन्, यो अनेकार्थी शब्द हो कि होइन, किनभने एउटै शब्दको हामी अनेकार्थी श्रुति सामिनार्थक शब्दहरू पढ्छौँ, एउटै शब्दको फरक फरक अर्थ हुन्छ, फरक फरक अर्थ दिने शब्दलाई हामी अनेकार्थी शब्द भन्छौँ र के फरक फरक अर्थ रहेछ त एउटै शब्द खोजी गर्दा हामी त्यसरी पत्ता लगाउन सक्छौँ। यो भयो त्र कहाँनिर छ भन्ने कुरा। त्यसपछि ज्ञ पनि ज र आदि ज यहाँ खुट्टा तानिएको रहेन रहेछ, ज र य आदि मिलेर चाहिँ ज्ञ हुने भएकाले यो आफैमा स्वतन्त्र छैन नि त। त्यस कारणले गर्दा ज सिद्धिसकेपछि चाहिँ के हुन्छ, जबाट उच्चारण हुने सम्पूर्ण ज जा जी जी जु जु जे जै जो जौ सिद्धिसकेपछि हामीले के पाउँछौँ त, ज्ञबाट सुरु हुने शब्दहरू पाउँछौँ। त्यहाँ ज्ञबाट सुरु हुने ज्ञ अक्षरबाट उच्चारण हुने र सुरु हुने शब्दहरू हामीले शब्दकोशमा पाउन सक्छौँ। यो भयो चाहिँ छ। तर ज्ञ चाहिँ हामीले शब्दकोशमा कहाँ भेट्ने त, कसरी पत्ता लगाउने, त्यस्ता शब्दहरूलाई कसरी खोज्ने भन्ने कुराको जानकारी यहाँहरूलाई थोरै दिने प्रयत्न गरेँ मैले। अब यहाँहरूले शब्दकोश पल्टाउनु भयो भने यहाँहरूले जसले पहिल्यै सिकिसक्नु भएको छ, जानिसक्नु भएको छ, उहाँहरूलाई त कठिन हुने कुरो भएन, उहाँहरूले सिकिसक्नु भएको छ। जसलाई चाहिँ अलिकति पहिले शब्दकोश पल्टाउनु भएको छैन, अनि पल्टाए पनि सानो सानो पल्टाउनु भएको छ र म विस्तृत रूपमा खोज्नु भएको छैन, उहाँहरूलाई थप जानकारी हुन्छ। अब यहाँहरू त 11 कक्षामा पढ्ने विद्यार्थी हुनुहुन्छ। अनि त्यसपछि मैले अघि पनि भने आज हामी चाहिँ के गर्छौँ, नेपाली शुद्ध कसरी लेख्ने, चन्द्रबिन्दुको प्रयोग हुन्छ, त्यसपछि गएर शिरबिन्दुको प्रयोग हुन्छ, त्यसपछि पञ्चम वर्णको कुराहरू हुन्छ, कहाँ कहाँ चाहिँ चन्द्रबिन्दु लगाउने होला, कहाँ कहाँ चाहिँ शिरबिन्दु प्रयोग गर्ने होला, हामीलाई त्यो चाहिँ अन्यलमा परे हुन्छ। अनि हामीले चाहिँ कहिलेकाहीँ जहाँ लगाउनु पर्ने हो त्यहाँ लगाइदिँदैनौँ। हामीले पढ्दै जाँदाखेरि त्यो एउटा शब्दको माथि चाहिँ चन्द्रबिन्दु चाहिँ याद गरे हुन्छ दिमागमा, तर कुनको माथि हो भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ हामीलाई थाहा हुँदैन। त्यस कारणले गर्दा कहिलेकाहीँ के हुन्छ त, त्यहाँ बुझाउँछ भनेर लेखेको छ, बुझा ऊको माथि चन्द्रबिन्दु लाग्ने ठाउँमा हामीले त्यो एउटा वाक्य एउटा शब्दको माथि डिका दिएको छ, हामीलाई के याद भइरहेको हुन्छ, त्यो डिकाको माथि एउटा चन्द्रबिन्दु चाहिँ छ भन्ने याद भइरहेको हुन्छ। तर कुन चाहिँ अक्षरले चाहिँ चन्द्रबिन्दु बोकेको छ, कुन चाहिँ अक्षरलाई चाहिँ चन्द्रबिन्दुको आवश्यकता परेको छ भन्ने कुरामा चाहिँ हामी एकदमै अनभिज्ञ हुन्छौँ। अनि त्यसपछि हामी के गर्छौँ, त्यसको बारेमा चाहिँ नबुझिकन ठ्याक्कै लगाइदिन्छौँ। कहिलेकाहीँ चाहिँ त्यसले गलत अर्को अर्थ दिन सक्छ, जुन शब्दको अर्थ खोजेका हुन्छौँ हामीले त्यो पत्ता नलाग्न सक्छ। त्यस कारणले गर्दा यहाँनिर चन्द्रबिन्दुले नाके ध्वनिलाई बुझाउँछ भने शिरबिन्दुले पञ्चम वर्ण ङ य न अण न मलाई बुझाउँछ भनेर यहाँ मैले लेखेको छु। अब एकजना अर्को भाइ बहिनी जो हुनुहुन्छ, अघि चाहिँ आशुतोषले पढ्नुभयो, मैले पढ्नुभन्दा यहाँहरूले पढ्नुभयो भने चाहिँ उत्तम हुन्छ। कसले पढ्नुहुन्छ, एकजना भाइ या बहिनी जसले भए पनि पढिदिनुहोस् त। यो स्क्रिनमा देखिएको शिरबिन्दु र चन्द्रबिन्दुको प्रयोग भन्ने कहाँ कहाँ प्रयोग हुन्छ भनेर थोरै यहाँहरूलाई मैले चाहिँ प्रस्तुत गर्ने प्रयत्न गरेको छु। पढ्नुहोस् त। कसले पढ्नुहुन्छ, पढ्नुहोस् त। हेलो, सुन्नु भएको छ नि यहाँहरूले? आशुतोष?
हजुर म्याम, म पढ्छु।
कोही सुन्नु नै नसुन्नु भयो कि नबोल्नु भएको हो, मैले चाहिँ ठ्याक्कै आसपास
होइन
गाली पढ्नु भएको र।
सुन्नेको छ म्याम।
ल तपाईँ नै पढिदिनुहोस् ल।
चन्द्रबिन्दु हस्
बिन्दु है छोरो त्यो
चन्द्रबिन्दु
बिन्दु। ल
हजुर, चन्द्रबिन्दु र शिरबिन्दुको प्रयोग। चन्द्रबिन्दुले नाके ध्वनिलाई बुझाउँछ भने शिरबिन्दुले पञ्चम वर्ण आदि ङ, आदि य, आदि अण, आदि न र आदि म लाई बुझाउँछ। प्रथम पुरुषको क्रियापदमा छौँ, गएँ, भयौँ, जाउँला, लेख्थेँ। धातुमा द, दा, दै जोडिएकोमा दिँदा, जाँदै, सुनाउँछ, पाउँदा। चन्द्रबिन्दु प्रयोग हुने केही शब्दहरू अँध्यारो, टाक, ठाउँ, जहाँ, जाँच, घाँटी आदि।
मैले थोरै धन्यवाद आशुतोषलाई, धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। यहाँनिर एक दुई ठाउँमा चाहिँ मेरै टाइप अलिकति त्यो इरर भइरहेछ, यहाँले बुझ्नुहुन्छ। के भयो भने चन्द्रबिन्दु, हामीले चन्द्रबिन्दु र शिरबिन्दु भनेको छौँ, यहाँ चन्द्रबिन्दुको मात्रै कुरा गरिरहेको छौँ। अब कहिले काहीँ हुन्छ नि, यहाँहरूले लेखिरहनुहुन्छ, लेख्दाखेरि चाहिँ जस्तै म विद्यालय गएँ। अब त्यहाँ एउटा चन्द्रबिन्दुले चाहिँ के हुन्छ त, त्यो क्रियापदको चाहिँ अर्थमा फरक हुन्छ। गए, उनीहरू विद्यालय गए, म त गएँ हो नि त, होइन। अब तपाईँहरूले ध्वनिहरू पढ्नुहुन्छ क्या, त्यो उच्चारणको आधारमा, घोषत्वको आधारमा। अब तपाईँहरूको यो चाहिँ कक्षामा पढ्नुहुन्छ, त्यसमा तपाईँहरूले नाके ध्वनि, नासिके ध्वनिहरू भनेर पढ्नुहुन्छ, त्यतिखेर यहाँले चाहिँ सजिलो हुन्छ। अब के हुन्छ त, हामीले लेख्दाखेरि के लेख्छौँ चाहिँ हामीलाई थाहा हुन्छ म कर्ता छ त्यहाँ, यहाँनिर चाहिँ अब प्रथम पुरुष छ, हामी छ भनेर थाहा हुन्छ। तर त्यसको क्रियापदमा हामी के गरिदिन्छौँ त, कहिलेकाहीँ त्यो लेखित चन्द्रबिन्दु राखिदिँदैनौँ, जसको कारणले गर्दा त्यसको अर्थ चाहिँ अर्कै आउँछ के। जस्तै हामी विद्यालय जान्छौँ, यहाँ चन्द्रबिन्दु एउटा नलाउँदा के हुन्छ त, जान्छौँ है। त्यस कारणले गर्दा एउटा चन्द्रबिन्दुले जान्छौँ हुन्छ नि त, छौँ। अब त्यस कारणले हामीले जहिले पनि प्रथम पुरुषमा चाहिँ भूतकालमा चाहिँ म र हामी दुइटैमा, वर्तमान काल र भविष्यत कालमा त अब ममा जान्छु, खान्छु हुन्छ, अब ममा त लगाउनु पर्दैन। अनि वर्तमान काल र भविष्यत कालमा बहुवचनमा चाहिँ हामीले क्रियापदको अन्त्यमा चाहिँ के गर्छौँ त, क्रियापदमा चाहिँ चन्द्रबिन्दुको प्रयोग गर्छौँ, जसले चाहिँ कर्ता र क्रियाको मेल हुन्छ। त्यहाँ कर्ताले दिन खोजेको कुरा क्रियाले चाहिँ बुझाउनु पर्यो नि त। क्रियाले, कर्ता र क्रियाको मेलबाट चाहिँ वाक्य स्पष्ट हुन्छ। त्यसपछि क्रियामा हामीले चन्द्रबिन्दु प्रयोग गरिसकेपछि यो प्रथम पुरुषमा प्रयोग भएको हो, यसमा कर्ता प्रथम पुरुष छ र क्रिया पनि प्रथम पुरुषसँग मेल खानेछ भनेर हामी बुझ्न सक्छौँ। जस्तै अब जान्छौँ वा खेल्छौँ, जानेछौँ, गयौँ, भयौँ, जाउँला, खाउँला, यो चाहिँ हामीसँग विशेष गरी प्रथम पुरुषको चाहिँ भूतकालमा मात्र लाग्छ। अनि प्रथम भूतकालमा चाहिँ एक वचनमा चाहिँ भूतकालमा पनि लाग्छ चन्द्रबिन्दु। जस्तै म गएँ, म जान्थेँ, त्यसमा लाग्छ भने बहुवचनमा चाहिँ भूतकाल, वर्तमान काल र भविष्यत कालको तीनटैमा के लाग्छ त, चन्द्रबिन्दु लाग्छ क्रियामा। यो कुरा यहाँहरूले ख्याल गर्नु होला। अब धातुमा द, दा, दै जोडिएकोमा देखिँदा, यो दे दिँदा होइन खि हुन्थ्यो, यहाँ हुनुपर्ने दि भएछ। देखिँदा, जाँदै, सुनाउँछ, पाउँदा चाहिँ यो चाहिँ के भएको छ त, धातुमा द, दा, दै प्रयोग हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ के हुन्छ त, यहाँनिर हामीले चन्द्रबिन्दुको प्रयोग गर्ने रहेछौँ। त्यस्तै गरी अब अरू धेरै शब्दहरू छन्, मैले दुई चारवटा मात्रै शब्दहरूको यहाँलाई राख्दै चन्द्रबिन्दु प्रयोग हुने केही शब्दहरू। अब जस्तै अँध्यारो, अको माथि चन्द्रबिन्दु भएन भने के हुन्छ त, अँध्यारो, त्यसको चाहिँ जुन हामीले उच्चारण गर्दाखेरि नै के हुन्छ, त्यसको हुन्छ नि त, यहाँनिर चाहिँ यो नाके ध्वनि उच्चारण हुन्छ चन्द्रबिन्दुले, अँध्यारो, त्यसको स्पष्ट चाहिँ यो अन्धकार रहेछ भन्ने बुझ्छौँ होइन। त्यो टाक छ नि त, यहाँ यो नि नाके ध्वनि छ, टाक हुन्छ यसको। यस्तो हिसाबले हामीले जे उच्चारण, कहिलेकाहीँ चाहिँ हामी उच्चारण चाहिँ स्पष्ट गर्छौँ, लेख्ने बेलामा चाहिँ त्यही एउटा चन्द्रबिन्दु हटाइदिँदाखेरि पनि त्यसको चाहिँ क्रियाले बुझाउन खोजेको कार्यमा चाहिँ भिन्नता आउँछ। त्यो भएर हामीले नेपाली लेख्दाखेरि विशेष गरी ध्यान दिनुपर्ने कुरा चन्द्रबिन्दुको प्रयोग, शिरबिन्दुको प्रयोग। अब कहाँनिर पूर्ण विराम दिने, कहाँ अल्प विराम दिने, कहिलेकाहीँ चाहिँ ग्रुप पूर्ण विराम नदिँदाखेरि तपाईँले बेला बेलामा देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ, त्यसले अर्थ नै फरक लगाइदिन्छ। एउटा धर्को त हो आखिर, त्यसले फरक अर्थ लगाइदिन्छ। त्यसैले हामीले लेख्ने क्रममा, बोल्न त हामी स्पष्ट बोल्छौँ, कतिपय कुरामा चाहिँ हामी के गर्छौँ, बोल्दाखेरि पनि अस्ति हामीले भूत र अभूत भनेर पढेका थियौँ, त्यसमा पनि यहाँहरूले बुझिसक्नु भएको छ। त्यो आधारमा हामी बोल्छौँ र लेख्दाखेरि फरक तरिकाले लेख्छौँ अनि शुद्ध साध्यमा विशेष ख्याल गर्नु पर्ने कुरा हुन्छ। हामीले जे बोल्छौँ त्यही लेखिदिँदा कहिलेकाहीँ के हुन्छ फरक हुन्छ। हामीलाई एकदमै स्मार्ट तरिकाले बोल्यौँ भनेर आयो आयो भन्छौँ साथीहरूलाई होइन, आयो आयो भन्दै प्रयोग गर्दै गर्दै हाम्रो मुखमा त्यही झुन्डेको छ भने कहिलेकाहीँ हामी आफूभन्दा ठुलालाई आदर गर्नुपर्ने व्यक्तिलाई पनि के भनेर चाहिँ प्रयोग गरिदिन्छौँ त आयो नै भनेर प्रयोग गरिदिन्छौँ। त्यसले एकदम नेपाली भाषामा सुनिने मिठास चाहिँ सुनिँदैन। त्यसले गर्दा हामीले जे बोल्छौँ त्यही लेख्ने भन्दाखेरि पनि कहाँ आदरको प्रयोग गर्ने, कुन कुन ठाउँमा अनादरको प्रयोग गर्ने, कुन ठाउँमा चन्द्रबिन्दुको प्रयोग गर्ने, कसरी वाक्य स्पष्ट हुन्छ भन्ने कुरामा ख्याल गर्यो भने हामीले नेपाली शुद्ध सादी लेखनमा एकदमै महत्त्वपूर्ण चाहिँ सुधार ल्याउन सक्छौँ। अनि सुधार मात्रै व्यावहारिक रूपमा पनि सुधार लेख्छौँ, परीक्षाको दृष्टिकोणले सुधार ल्याउन सक्छौँ र बोलीमा पनि हामीले सुधार ल्याउन सक्छौँ र स्तरीय नेपाली भाषा प्रयोग गरेर बोल्न सक्छौँ। हामीले लेख्ने बानी त्यही आधारमा भयो भने त त्यही आधारको हामीले के गर्छौँ त बोल्छौँ नि त। अनि हामीले चाहिँ जे लेखिदिन्छौँ त्यही बोलिदिन्छौँ अनि भइहाल्छ नि भन्न थाल्यौँ भने हाम्रो जुन नेपाली भाषाको उच्चारण शैली हुन्छ त्यो पनि बिस्तारै ह्रास हुँदै जान्छ। हामीले नेपाली भाषालाई चाहिँ माया गर्नु छ नि त, हामी नेपाली हौँ, नेपाली भाषालाई चाहिँ के गर्नु छ त माया गर्नु छ। माया गर्नको निम्ति हामीले के गर्नुपर्छ त्यही आधारमा चाहिँ तयारी हुनुपर्छ है। अब यहाँ शिरबिन्दु अब त्यही हामीलाई कहिलेकाहीँ के लाग्छ चन्द्रबिन्दु र शिरबिन्दु उस्तै उस्तै लाग्छ अनि हामी के गरिदिन्छौँ त चन्द्रबिन्दु प्रयोग गर्ने ठाउँमा पनि शिरबिन्दुकै प्रयोग गरिदिन्छौँ क्या, थोप्ला दिइदिन्छौँ। जस्तै प्रथम पुरुषमा हामी म र हामीमा हामीले चन्द्रबिन्दु प्रयोग गर्नुपर्ने ठाउँमा कहिलेकाहीँ चाहिँ के गरिदिन्छौँ तपाईँहरूले कतिपय पुस्तकहरूमा पनि देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ गल्ती हो कि त्यहाँनिर चन्द्रबिन्दु दिनुपर्ने ठाउँमा शिरबिन्दु थोप्ला मात्रै दिएको हुन्छ। त्यसको चाहिँ जुन सबैको आफ्नो आफ्नो अस्तित्व हुन्छ, आफ्नो आफ्नो पहिचान हुन्छ, आफ्नो आफ्नो परिचय हुन्छ र त्यो पहिचान चाहिँ उसले पाउनु पर्यो नि त। जहाँ शिरबिन्दुको आवश्यकता छ त्यहाँ चन्द्रबिन्दु राखेर त भएन, जहाँ चन्द्रबिन्दुको आवश्यकता छ त्यहाँ शिरबिन्दु राखेर त भएन। त्यो भएर हामीले चाहिँ एउटै थोप्लो त हो नि आखिर भन्ने भन्दाखेरि पनि शिरबिन्दुलाई शिरबिन्दुकै ठाउँमा प्रयोग गरिदिने, शिरबिन्दु आवश्यकता पर्ने ठाउँमा शिरबिन्दु प्रयोग गरिदिने र चन्द्रबिन्दु आवश्यकता पर्ने ठाउँमा चन्द्रबिन्दुको प्रयोग गर्नाले चाहिँ हाम्रो लेखन शैली र उच्चारण शैलीमा के हुन्छ विकास हुन्छ। अब अर्को एकजना साथीले पढ्नुहोस् त शिरबिन्दुको प्रयोग हुने अवस्थाहरू कस्तो कस्तो अवस्थामा शिरबिन्दु प्रयोग हुन्छ होइन। हामीले चाहिँ यो चाहिँ एकदमै यहाँहरूलाई पनि अनलाइन हुने कुरा हो, त्यही भएर मैले थोरै जानकारी गराउन पुनरावृत्ति मात्र गराउन खोजेको। एकजना अर्को साथीले पढ्नुहोस् त अब यो शिरबिन्दुको प्रयोग हुने अवस्था कहाँ कहाँ चाहिँ शिरबिन्दु प्रयोग हुँदो रहेछ भनेर। आर्य भट्टराई।
हजुर म्याम, हजुर
सुन्नु भएको छ सर?
सुनेको छु म्याम, सुनेको छु।
विद्यार्थीहरूको प्रतिक्रिया आएन त्यही भएर।
ए होइन, आइरहेछ म्याम।
ल एकजनाले पढ्नुहोस् त यो शिरबिन्दुको प्रयोग हुने अवस्था भनेर।
ल निराजन उप्रेती पढिदिनुहोस् त, निराजन उप्रेती अथवा शिखा अवस्थी अन गरिदिनुहोस्। ल ल बनिताले भन्दै त्यसमा बनिता विष्टले भन्दै हो।
शिरबिन्दुको प्रयोग हुने अवस्था तत्सव शब्दमा ए र ल वो स ह छे वर्णभन्दा अगाडि पञ्चम वर्णका लागि शिरबिन्दु प्रयोग गरिन्छ। जस्तै संयोग, संयोजन, संयम, अंश, संज्ञा, संवेदना, कंश, संरक्षण आदि। थ्याङ्क यू म्याम।
धन्यवाद। के हो हजुरको नाम?
बनिता विष्ट।
बनितालाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। अब यहाँहरूले यसमा चाहिँ अलिकति विशेष गरी ध्यान दिनुपर्ने कुरा के छ भने अब कहिलेकाहीँ हामी जे पढ्छौँ त्यही लेख्छौँ, जे सुन्छौँ त्यही लेख्छौँ। अनि अब यहाँनिर चाहिँ किन आदि य भयो, यहाँनिर चाहिँ किन शिरबिन्दु भयो, किन यहाँनिर आदि न भयो, किनभने हामीले उच्चारण त नकै गरिरहेको हुन्छौँ नि त। म या नको उच्चारण गरिरहेको हुन्छौँ, नमा चाहिँ तिनटै पर्छ, य आदि यमा नि हामी न नै उच्चारण गर्छौँ, त्यसपछि गएर आदि नमा नकै उच्चारण गर्छौँ, आदि अणमा पनि नकै उच्चारण गर्छौँ र आदि ममा मको उच्चारण गर्छौँ होइन। यो अवस्थामा चाहिँ किन शिरबिन्दु लगाउने भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ जिज्ञासा रहन सक्छ। यो चाहिँ फेरि पञ्चम वर्ण भनेको के हो, किन चाहिँ पञ्चम वर्णमा चाहिँ शिरबिन्दु लगाउने अर्थात् नलगाउने भन्ने कुरा पनि यहाँहरूलाई जिज्ञासा रहन सक्छ र कतिपय भाइ बहिनीहरूले थाहा पाइसक्नु भएको छ। थाहा पाउँदा पाउँदै पनि थप जानकारी यहाँले बटुल्नु होला। यसले तपाईँहरूको नेपाली शुद्ध साध्यमा विशेष ध्यान दिन्छ। तत्सम शब्द भनेको थाहा छ यहाँलाई, संस्कृतबाट आएको शब्द। त्यसमा चाहिँ य र ल व स स ह ज्ञ वर्णभन्दा अगाडि पञ्चम वर्णका लागि शिरबिन्दु प्रयोग गरिन्छ। पञ्चम वर्ण भनेको चाहिँ अघि भने मैले आदि ङ आदि चाहिँ यहाँ अघि साथीले नि पढिसक्नु भएको छ, आदि य आदि अण आदि न आदि म हैन। यी उच्चारण हुनुपर्ने जस्तै न अण य यस्तो उच्चारण हुनुपर्ने जुन त्यो नको उच्चारण हुने अवस्थामा चाहिँ हामीले के गर्ने रहेछौँ त शिरबिन्दुको प्रयोग गर्ने रहेछौँ। कुनमा त त्योभन्दा अगाडि आउने आदि नको प्रयोगमा, जस्तै य अनि यहाँ छ नि त जस्तै संयोग आदि य भन्दा अगाडि आदि मको उच्चारण भएको छ। त्यहाँ संयोग सको पछाडि र य को अगाडि चाहिँ आदि मको उच्चारण भएको छ। त्यसलाई चाहिँ हामीले के राख्यौँ त शिरबिन्दु राख्यौँ। स भन्दा माथि चाहिँ त्यसलाई शिरबिन्दुको रूपमा राख्यौँ। अनि संयोग भयो, यहाँ आदि म हामीले लेखेनौँ। अहिले पञ्चम वर्णको बारेमा थोरै यहाँलाई मैले जानकारी दिन्छु। यो शिरबिन्दु भइसकेपछि त्यसपछि संयोजन य भन्दा अगाडि अम स अ भन्दा के अरे स भन्दा अगाडि, त्यसपछि संज्ञा भन्दा अगाडि, त्यसपछि व भन्दा अगाडि पनि के आयो संवेदना, त्यसपछि कङ स भन्दा अगाडि आयो, र भन्दा अगाडि के आयो आदिमको उच्चारण भएको ठाउँमा हामीले के गर्यौँ त शिरबिन्दुको प्रयोग गर्यौँ। अब कुन ठाउँमा शिरबिन्दु प्रयोग गर्ने भन्ने कुराको यहाँलाई जानकारी भयो भन्ने मैले मानेको छु। यहाँलाई के जिज्ञासा भयो भने अहिले पछि यहाँले सोध्न सक्नुहुनेछ। अनि त्यसपछि नेपाली तद्भव र आगन्तुक शब्दमा भने उच्चारण अनुसारकै पञ्चम वर्ण प्रयोग गरिन्छ, शिरबिन्दुको प्रयोग गरिँदैन हैन। तद्भव चाहिँ संस्कृतबाट आएर अब यसलाई के भयो त बिग्रेर नेपालीमा रूपान्तरण भयो, अग्निको आगो भयो हैन। त्यसपछि आगन्तुक शब्द चाहिँ कम्प्युटर, त्यसपछि अस्ति हामीले आगन्तुक शब्दहरू पढेका थियौँ। त्यस्ता शब्दमा चाहिँ उच्चारण अनुसारकै पञ्चम वर्ण प्रयोग गरिन्छ। यसमा चाहिँ के हुँदैन त शिरबिन्दुको प्रयोग गरिँदैन। जस्तै भन्छ, चम्चा, ब्यान्ड, त्यसपछि डन्डा, सनकाग यिनीहरूमा चाहिँ हामीले के गर्ने रहेछौँ त त्यो पञ्चम वर्णहरू नकै मको जे पढ्छौँ हामी, जे उच्चारण गर्छौँ त्यही नै हामीले प्रयोग गर्ने रहेछौँ। अब यसको त्यो अघिको स्लाइड, यसको बाँकी भएको स्लाइड थियो त्यहाँनिर उता गएछ। अब पञ्चम वर्णको प्रयोग अर्को एकजनाले पढ्ने। अब कोही हुनुहुन्छ पढ्ने? पढ्नुहोस् भाइ बहिनीहरू। यहाँहरू त एकदम पढ्दा एकदम परिपक्व दक्ष भएर आइसक्नु भएको छ। सुन्ने आवाज सुन्ने गरी यहाँहरूले मनमनाइ त अघिदेखि स्लाइड पढिरहनु भएको छ। त्यही पनि सबै साथीहरूले र मैले पनि सुन्ने गरी पढ्नुहोस् त एकजनाले। हिचकिचाउनु हुँदैन, आफूभित्र भएको प्रतिभालाई त देखाउने हो नि। जति हामीले अभिव्यक्ति दिँदै जान्छौँ, अभिव्यक्ति गर्दै जान्छौँ, त्यति हाम्रो बोल्ने शैलीको विकास हुन्छ। ल पढ्नुहोस् त।
पञ्चम वर्णको प्रयोग क ख ग घ भन्दा अगाडि अङ्गको प्रयोग हुन्छ। जस्तै अङ्ग, अङ्क, शङ्का, सङ्गत, सङ्ख्या, सङ्घ आदि। च छ ज छ भन्दा अगाडि णको प्रयोग हुन्छ, यको प्रयोग हुन्छ। जस्तै पञ्चायत, लान्छना, सञ्जय, कुञ्ज, झन्डा आदि। ट ढ अगाडि अणको प्रयोग हुन्छ। जस्तै घण्टा, कण्ठ, पण्डित, चण्डी आदि। त थ द ध का अगाडि नको प्रयोग हुन्छ। जस्तै सन्त, पन्थ, मन्द, गन्ध आदि। प फ ब भ का अगाडि मको प्रयोग हुन्छ। कम्प, पम्फा, सम्बन्ध, अम्बा आदि।
शाबास। ल के हो तपाईको नाम के हो छोरो?
लभ दानी।
ल धन्यवाद यहाँलाई। पञ्चम वर्णको प्रयोग, पञ्चम वर्ण भनेको के हो र कुन अवस्थामा हामीले पञ्चम वर्ण प्रयोग गर्दो रहेछौँ। अघि शिरबिन्दुको कुरा गर्दैछौँ नि त हामी। शिरबिन्दु कुन ठाउँमा लाग्दो रहेछ र कुन ठाउँमा चाहिँ लाग्दो रहन्छ भन्ने कुरा यहाँ हामी छलफल गर्ने क्रममा छौँ। जस्तै हामीले व्यञ्जन वर्ण पढ्दाखेरि क ख ग घ ङ च छ ज भन्दै पढ्दै जान्छौँ। अब यहाँनिर 4वटा अक्षरहरू छ, क ख ग घ। 4वटा अक्षरहरू भन्दा 4वटा अक्षर हामीले चाहिँ अक्षरको मात्रै कुरा छैन, शब्दको पनि कुरा छ। त्यो 4वटा अक्षर भन्दा अगाडि न उच्चारण हुने, न उच्चारण हुन्छ नि त। जस्तै अङ्ग हैन, त्यो नको उच्चारण हुने क्रममा हामीले चाहिँ शिरबिन्दु प्रयोग गर्दैनौँ। क ख ग घ भन्दा अगाडि चाहिँ आदि ङको प्रयोग गर्छौँ। आदि ङ लेख्छौँ, त्यसपछि त्यसको पछाडिका शब्दलाई लेख्छौँ। जस्तै ग को अगाडि आदि ङ आयो, क को अगाडि आदि ङ आयो, अनि त्यसपछि ख आदि ख को अगाडि आदि ङ आयो, घ को अगाडि आदि ङ आयो। अनि त्यसपछि यहाँहरूले के बुझ्नुपर्छ, अघि हामीले चाहिँ त्यो शब्द कोषको कहाँनिर शब्द खोज्ने भन्ने कुरामा पनि छ क भन्दा पछाडि खोज्छौँ भनेर हामीले भन्यौँ। त्यस कारणले गर्दा यहाँहरूले संक्षिप्त लेख्दाखेरि पनि छ भन्दा छ त्यो क र अघि हामीले पढ्यौँ, त्यसपछि त्यो छ पनि के हुन्छ त, छ भन्दा अगाडि म आउँछ, माथि शिरबिन्दु राख्दैन हामीले संक्षिप्त लेख्दाखेरि। त्यहाँनिर सन भनेर नको चाहिँ प्रयोग हुन्छ, तर हामीले त्यहाँ के गर्छौँ त खुट्टा तानेर ङको प्रयोग गर्छौँ। यसरी क ख ग घ भन्दा अगाडि आदि ङ आदि न उच्चारण हुने चाहिँ शब्द अक्षर आयो भने हामीले त्यस्तो अवस्थामा चाहिँ ङको प्रयोग गर्नुपर्ने रहेछ, आदि ङ। त्यसले चाहिँ हाम्रो अक्षर के हुन्छ, शुद्ध हुन्छ। आवश्यकता के हो, त्यसको पहिचान कहाँनिर हो भन्ने कुरा हामीले स्पष्टसँग गराउन सक्छौँ। अर्को छ अब च छ ज झ भन्दा अगाडि चाहिँ के गर्छौँ त, आदि य चाहिँ यो ङ चाहिँ हामी खुट्टा तानेर लेख्छौँ, तर य चाहिँ आदि लेख्न मिल्छ नि त। जस्तै यहाँ माथि पञ्चममा य आदि लेख्या छ, त्यसरी हामी त्यसको प्रयोग गर्छौँ। पञ्चायत च भन्दा अगाडि आयो, लालछना छ भन्दा अगाडि आयो, सञ्जय ज भन्दा अगाडि आयो, पुञ्ज ज भन्दा अगाडि आयो, झन्झा झ भन्दा अगाडि आयो। यसरी च छ ज झ भन्दा अगाडि आदि नको चाहिँ उच्चारण हुनुपर्ने अवस्था भयो भने हामीले त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ आदि यको प्रयोग गर्छौँ है। त्यसपछि ट ठ ड ढ भन्दा अगाडि नको उच्चारण हुनुपर्ने अवस्थामा हामीले के गर्ने रहेछौँ त, आदि हडको प्रयोग गर्ने रहेछौँ। जस्तै घण्टा, कण्ठ, पण्डित, चण्डी आदि। त्यसपछि त थ द ध का अगाडि नको प्रयोग हुन्छ, त्यो भन्दा अगाडि हामीले चाहिँ आदि नको प्रयोग गर्ने रहेछौँ। त भन्दा अगाडि सन्त भन्दा अगाडि आदि न आयो, थ भन्दा अगाडि आदि न आयो, द भन्दा अगाडि आदि न आयो, मन्द गन्ध, ध भन्दा अगाडि आदि नआयो। यो चाहिँ हामीले शुद्ध लेख्ने क्रममा, जे बोल्ने क्रममा, बोल्न चाहिँ फेरि जे बोल्छौँ त्यही लेख्दाखेरि, जस्तै अन्डा लेख्छौँ होइन, पण्डित लेख्छौँ, चण्डी लेख्छौँ, अनि त्यसपछि आदि न लेखिदिन्छौँ, व्यञ्जन लेख्छौँ, त्यहाँनिर पनि आदि न लेख्छौँ। त्यसरी भन्दा हामीले कहाँ कहाँ त्यो कुरा पञ्चम वर्ण कहाँनिर प्रयोग गर्ने भन्ने कुरामा हामीले जानकारी लिनुपर्छ। त्यसपछि प फ ब भ म, प फ ब भ म आइसकेपछि प फ ब भ चारवटा, त्यसको अगाडि आदि नको प्रयोग भयो भने हामी के गर्छौँ त, आदि म लेख्छौँ। कम्प, पम्फा, सम्बन्ध, अम्ला आदि। जानुहोस् छोरो, एकछिन त जानुहोस्। अनि त्यसपछि अघि मैले यहाँहरूलाई भने तद्भव र आगन्तुक शब्दको उच्चारण हुने अनुसारकै पञ्चम वर्ण प्रयोग गरिन्छ भनेर अघि पनि भनेको थिएँ मैले। यहाँनिर चाहिँ शिरबिन्दु लाग्दैन, जस्तै ब्यान्ड ड भन्दा अगाडि पनि न नै प्रयोग भएको छ, अनि डन्डा भन्दा अगाडि न नै प्रयोग भएको छ। यो चाहिँ हामीले जस्ताको तस्तै प्रयोग गर्छौँ है। अनि यहाँनिर
हामीसित 12-13 मिनट छ।
म एकदमै मेरो सिद्धिसक्यो, धेरै छैन, मैले आज धेरै गरेको छैन। त्यसपछि यहाँनिर हेरेँ, अनि त्यसपछि यहाँहरूले यो पनि खोजेर लेख्न के अरे पढ्न सक्नुहुन्छ। अनुष्टुप छन्दमा लेखिएको एउटा कविता रहेछ, यहाँहरूले यो कविता अध्ययन गर्नुभयो भने चाहिँ कसरी चाहिँ हामीले शुद्ध सादी बनाउन सक्छौँ, कहाँ रस्व दीर्घ बनाउने, कहाँ शिरबिन्दी लगाउने भन्ने कुरा यहाँले जानकारी लिन सक्नुहुन्छ। यो चाहिँ यहाँले यो चाहिँ गुगलमा खोज्नुभयो, मैले पनि खोजेरै लेखेको हो। यहाँहरूले यो कविताहरू चाहिँ गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ। यहाँ मैले 2-4वटा शब्द राखेको छु। अब नेपाली शब्दकोशमा छियोको प्रयोग कति बेला हुन्छ, यहाँहरूले चाहिँ यो चाहिँ के गर्नुपर्ने रहेछ त, उत्तर दिनुपर्ने रहेछ अस्तिको जस्तै। दिइहाल्नुहोस् फटाफटी, नेपाली शब्दकोशमा छियोको प्रयोग कहाँ हुन्छ भनेर यहाँहरूले अप्सन पाइहाल्नुहुन्छ, त्यहाँनिर लेखिहाल्नुहोस् त। हो, फटाफटी लेख्नुहोस्। सबैजनाको सहभागिता रहोस् भन्ने मेरो अपेक्षा हो। क पछाडि, ह पछाडि छैन, च पछाडि। ल हामीले जम्मा 30 जनामा 14 जनाले प्रतिक्रिया दिनुभएको छ। 30 जनामा पनि 2 जना हामी छौँ, ठिकै छ। हामीले अघि भर्खर पढ्यौँ, यहाँहरूले दिनुभएको चाहिँ प्रतिक्रिया धेरै नै जनाले छ पछि भनेर लेख्नु भएको छ। छ पछि चाहिँ क पछि, क अक्षर पछि चाहिँ छ आउँछ भनेर चाहिँ यहाँले लगाइसक्नु भएको छ। क बाट उच्चारण हुने शब्दहरू पछि चाहिँ हामीले छको प्रयोग गर्छौँ। शुद्ध अक्षर छान्नुहोस् भनेको छ, त्यहाँ अक्षरहरू छ, यहाँहरूले चाहिँ त्यो छान्नुहुन्छ। कंस, सबभन्दा अगाडि चाहिँ हामीले शिरबिन्दु प्रयोग गर्छौँ भन्ने कुरा यहाँले जानकारी लिइसक्नु भएको छ। त्यसपछि रहेको छ शुद्ध शब्द छान्नुहोस् छ यसमा पनि। ल जाउँला या प्रथम जाउँला यो प्रथम पुरुषसँग ऊको पछाडि चन्द्रबिन्दुको प्रयोगहरू हुने रहेछ। त्यसपछि यो यहाँहरूले बनाइसक्नुहुन्छ। शब्दकोशमा त्रबाट सुरु हुने शब्द कुन अक्षर पछि भेटिन्छ भन्ने चाहिँ प्रश्न छ। यहाँहरूले प्रतिक्रिया दिनुहोला। एकदमै राम्रो सहभागिता जनाइरहनु भएको छ। त पछि यहाँहरू सबैजना पछि त्र अक्षर भेटिन्छ। एउटा छ अन्तिममा एउटा प्रश्न छ, यबाट सुरु हुने शब्द शब्दकोशमा कसरी खोजिन्छ? पछि ल धन्यवाद। यहाँहरू सबैजना चाहिँ धैर्य धारण गरेर मेरो कक्षामा बस्दिनु भयो, सुनिदिनु भयो। यहाँहरूलाई केही जिज्ञासा छ, केही चाहिँ सोध्नुपर्ने छ, केही चाहिँ यो चाहिँ स्पष्ट भएन भन्ने लागेछ भने यहाँले प्रश्न गर्न सक्नुहुनेछ। यहाँले चाहिँ जुन किसिमले तयारी गरिरहनु भएको छ, आफ्नो पढाइलाई आफ्नो अध्ययनलाई जुन किसिमले लागि परिरहनु भएको छ, यहाँहरूले यसलाई निरन्तर रूपमा अगाडि बढाइरहनुहोस्। यसले नै यहाँ गन्तव्यमा पुग्न सहज हुनेछ। त्यो यहाँहरूसँग केही जिज्ञासा छ भने यहाँले राख्न सक्नुहुनेछ।
ओके, सबै ठिक छ म्याडम, धन्यवाद भनेका छन् विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीले। ठिक छ भने म्याम, धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। आजको क्लास हाम्रो किएको छ। म्यामले राम्रो बिल्कुलै बहुतै सुन्दर तरिकाको विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीहरूलाई 11 कक्षामा चाहिने म्याटरलाई चाहिँ आफ्नो प्रेजेन्टेसनमा राख्नु भएको छ। धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। म्यामले मलाई यसलाई इमेलमा पठाइदिनु होला, सेयर गरिदिनु होला अनटाइटल प्रेजेन्टेसनबाट। म यसलाई चाहिँ पठाएको चिजलाई चाहिँ PDF बनाएर चाहिँ गुगल क्लासरुममा हालिदिनेछु। विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीले गुगल क्लासरुमबाट यो स्लाइडहरू पनि म्यामको पाउनेछन्। धेरै धन्यवाद मुन्ना म्याम फर वन्डरफुल प्रेजेन्टेसन। त्यसै गरी सम्पूर्ण विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीहरूलाई पनि धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु। तपाईँहरूको चाहिँ जुन उत्साहका साथ तपाईँहरूले चाहिँ हामीलाई 29 दिनसम्म साथ दिनुभएको छ, यो धेरै धेरै ठुलो कुरा हो। तपाईँहरू नआइदिएको भए सायद क्लासै हुँदैन थियो, जसले गर्दा तपाईँको सबभन्दा बढी र महत्त्वपूर्ण भूमिका भएको कारणले गर्दा म फेरि पनि विभिन्न विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीहरूलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद दिँदै आजको कार्यक्रमलाई म रेकर्डिङ इन गर्न गइरहेको छु।